yo, who got the picks? Hot picks that ought to hit with the parlays to get the best money. I'm a bet. Small time or max unit, all the paper you can get. Doing this ain't new to this. We take rips and cash shifts. So who got the picks? Hot picks that ought to hit with the parlays to get the best money. I'm a bet. Small time or max unit, all the paper you can get. Doing this ain't new to this. We take rips and cash shifts. Hey yo, Long Island, streaming live from New York. Strong Island, we get live what you thought. Bankroll too short. Y'all need the stack paper and rob the sports book like a crook full of paper. If you think we ain't hitting, then your chance is slim. It's victory bung wrist with Luke and Gaffney Jim. Got me cashing in a clock of chips on the regular. Fuck the rest of other cappers ain't competitors. Ain't no stress, we just clocking them checks. The best plus money bets in 60 seconds or less. So get yours while the live odds popping. Underdog shopping, big props stay dropping. Non-stopping till the clock hit nil, but you can still get a deal while the boys make a kill. So you can watch the shills with the same old gimmick of flipping out and cop some guap with the main car minute. Who got the picks? Hot picks that ought to hit with the parlays to get the best money. I'm a bet. Small time or max unit, all the paper you can get. Doing this ain't new to this. We take risks and cash slips. Who got the picks? Hot picks that ought to hit with the parlays to get the best money. I'm a bet. Small time or max unit, all the paper you can get. Doing this ain't new to this. We take risks and cash slips.
Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome to the first, Long Island Luke main card minute MMA live chat, whatever the F you want to call it. I don't really know what we're calling it. I don't know how this is going to go, guys. We're just doing our thing. We're seeing how it goes. But first of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to your boy on YouTube. You could also follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, main card minute, everywhere. You could also follow my other channels that I support. My boy Gaff at One More Round Fights. Obviously, I work on Morning Combat, and I also work on Foes to Bros, which is over on the Mac Life. If you don't mind also supporting those. If you're not already a member, you can become a member, guys. It's only 99 cents a month. Not that bad of a deal. Also, the new perk I'm adding is that members get priority questions here in this live chat. So if you're not a member, you probably have no idea that there was a post already put out. In fact, I know you have no idea unless someone told you. But basically, I put out a post a lot like Luke Thomas does on the community tab or post tab, I think it's now called, on YouTube. You guys can comment, vote, upvote it, whatever, and I'll just answer them in order. The thing is, I put that only for members. So members essentially can comment on that. Anyone else is free to ask a question right now in the live chat. I will try and get to them all, but no promises. So the promises are, if you comment on that post, I promise I'll answer it. If you send a super chat, I promise I'll answer it. Otherwise, I'll try and answer as many as I can. I have no idea the type of volume we're going to get. If we get nothing, then I'll answer them all. If we get a shitload, then I might ignore some. That's really the truth of it. But guys, we can talk about whatever you want. We got PFL Long Island on Friday. Shout out. Your boy is going. I'll be there Friday. It starts early. It starts at 4 p.m., which is great because I think the main card is 7. I'm going to be home by 11 o'clock. Looking forward to that. And then great fights too. And the only thing is MK, we do MK to 1:30-ish. I got to catch a 2 o'clock train to get to PFL at, 2:33, doors open, probably 3 if it's 4 o'clock event. So yeah, I got to get there early. But I'll be hopefully cage side. I don't know where I'm going to be sitting, guys, but I will be in the building, and I'll be live tweeting and posting some Instagram reels as well. So nothing really on the YouTube front. So if you don't already, again, follow me on the various social medias because that's where you'll be seeing the PFL content. And then Saturday, we're doing a full card watch along for Serbia, baby. UFC Serbia. 10 a.m. start. Not too bad. Not too bad on the East Coast. That'll be over at 4 p.m. So another Saturday night off. That's great. As far as other news and notes, if you guys want to talk about it, Anthony Lionheart Smith just got arrested. We can talk about that. They did just book Mike Perry versus Dylan Dennis, if anyone cares. I truthfully don't, but we can talk about it. Michael Morales is apparently going to be the UFC 330 backup. There's been rumors that he's going to fight Carlos Prates, Yaroslav Amosov on that card. Apparently, that's all bullshit. Nolan King shot it down. I do believe Nolan. But Morales is the backup, which, not that I'm mad at that, but dude, can we please get some more fights added to that card? Because Gaff and I will be there in Philly, and I'm not really looking forward to the card at all. I've already seen Islam fight in person. I don't care about Ian Gary. The co-main event is actually pretty good, but the co-main event is not a fight I'm like, wow, I can't wait to go see the co-main event. The rest of the card is pretty ass, dude. We need some fights added to that. In general, we could talk about who's going to headline the next few UFC events. Like, I feel like there's a bunch of events that don't have headliners. They just announced Joaquin Buckley versus Mike Malott in Canada, which I feel like it's like weirdly good matchmaking where I'm like, well, wait, Buckley does need a win against a beatable guy, Mike Malott. And then it's like, but wait, Mike Malott could also not easy, but Mike Malott could definitely beat Buckley. So it's like, I would have thought they'd do, Leon Edwards Malott or something where you kind of try and prop Malott up, see if he can get like a guy possibly on the way out, or a Bilal Malott, something like that. But Buckley, I was kind of surprised at that. I guess they want I don't know what they want here, guys. I'm curious what the odds are in that. MVP, Jake Paul's promotion just announced a partnership with Matchroom Boxing. I don't really give a fuck about that, but if you guys want to talk about it, we can. Arman Sarukian is in another grappling event. I mean, is anyone shocked? No, it's not RAF this time. It's the fucking Hype Brazil or whatever. I don't know, dude. What is Arman doing? That's all I got to say. And then Darren Till and Yoel Romero are booked in BKFC. So, Darren, it's hilarious. Someone needs to pull up that tweet from Darren Till years ago where he's like, I'm scared to fight Yoel Romero. He literally tweeted that. Like on his way, I think it was either right before he fought Woodley or maybe coming off the Woodley loss. But it was like, you said you were scared to fight him. Now that he's 46, you'll fight him. Of course you will. That's how this sport works. All right, as I take a sip of coffee, this is going to be more Campbell's rambles than anything else. We did get a super chat right off. Oh no, we didn't get a super chat. Sorry, I'm using a different program. It comes up differently for me. Shout out to Max, the degenerate MMA fan who gifted 10 fucking memberships. Appreciate you, Max. You're the fucking man. Go support him, guys. Go subscribe to him, degenerate MMA fan. He does a bunch of interviews. He's got a sick card collection, and he's just overall a really nice guy. All right, guys, let's get into the questions you guys sent ahead of time, if we may. I got a little setup here for that. Hey, how you like that? All right, so this was the post. For those of you who are not members, you obviously could not see this, but you essentially get to ask your questions here. We got 18 whole comments, baby. And I tried to sort them by fucking top, but I swear it doesn't change the order no matter what I do. So we're just going to leave it at that. Yo, and shout out to LazyBed who just popped in and was like, here's 5 more fucking memberships. Appreciate you, LazyBed. Thank you very much, brother. All right. Let's go. First up is Valen. He said, what has been your favorite moments from Prop Quiz now that we, Kevin Vallejo style, have hit 50 episodes? Congrats on all the success. And the reply here from Christian is, fuck off is my favorite moment by far, but curious how LIL would answer this. Okay, so the fuck off moment that Christian L is referring to is the time that Brian Campbell lost to Jose Youngs and rage quit and said, fuck off before signing off. Truth be told, that was one of the more awkward moments. Like I had to text BC after and be like, we good, bro? I felt a little weird about that, but looking back on it, it is one of the funnier moments. I have the sheet in front of me here with all the episodes. I'm just going to run through and kind of think of some funny things. Ben Davis and Luke Thomas are the only people who have ever finished with negative points. That's always worth a chuckle. Ben also has the highest score ever and the lowest score ever, which is kind of crazy. Danny Segura versus Jose Youngs, guys, episode 13. Low-key underrated episode here. Danny Segura put up 5,000 something points. Jose put up 7,000, but they both get the Hail Mary right. And it's like, you think Danny's going to win. You think Jose is going to win. That's a fun one, especially if you've seen Jose beat everyone and you just want to see him be a little competitive. I feel like that's a good one. Trying to think of what else here is fucking been that great or anything. Not that, I mean, they've all been great. You know what I mean? I can't think of specific funny moments. Some people PT Carroll had some of the better promos where every time he came on, he'd have a I'm gonna beat this motherfucker's ass, but in a funny Irish accent, and it was always really good and easy to make shorts with. So those moments were always great. I will say, guys, episode 51, here's a sneak peek, comes out Friday, obviously, but did just record it last night. 2 debutantes, so they've never played before. That's the exciting news. The other thing is, it is such a good episode. I'm looking back at the stats, and they only got this isn't a spoiler. They only got 3 questions wrong between the two of them. So it was fucking crazy. It was like, this guy's gonna win. No, this guy's gonna win. It was wild. So definitely check that one out. I'm trying to think of if there's any other episodes that have been like, or moments. If you guys got other hilarious moments, maybe I can be like, oh yeah, that's hilarious. Yo, shout out Saul for the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. He said Gutterman 1, Gary 0. Bro. Oh yeah, you're the one who sent me that clip. Dude, that's so fucking funny. I didn't even think of that when you sent me that, Saul. I wasn't even thinking, oh, you're a gutter guy too. Dude, what the fuck was that? So there's this clip of Ian Gary during that interview that obviously I didn't watch that interview, but I've seen the clips that have come out of it. We covered it on Foes to Bros a little bit with the Sean Gary parts and Glenn Gary. If you guys didn't see Glenn Gary, go check out that part. That's a Foes to Bros exclusive. We got the 3rd Gary brother. Go check it out. But yeah, dude, Ian Gary's telling a story. I have no context to the story. It just starts mid-clip, and he's like, and I stuck my hands in the gutter. And I'm almost doing like an Australian accent. And my hands were so dirty, they were so muddy, and I had to wait till I got home later to wash them. It was like he's like in tears over it. It's like, brother, relax, brother. It's fucking wild. But yeah, dude, I don't know. Prop quiz has been great. I'll say that much. I don't really have much else to say. If you guys got a great moment, let me fucking know. All right. Let me know. We'll go back to the other questions. Shout out again to Valen and Christian. Danny Double D's said, do you like theme parks / roller coasters? I saw Six Flags in New Jersey just announced yesterday a new coaster called Bakunawa. It's nearly 400 feet tall and spins the whole time. I'd pay to see a POV of you, Gaff, LT, and Jed riding it. Dude, first of all, how do people do those POV cameras? Are they just built in, or do they just bring a GoPro and like they let you strap it on? Like, I've always wondered how that works, because like, how are you just like putting this on this roller coaster? That all right, I digress. Yes, I will admit I haven't been to like a true theme park, because I don't know if this is just a Long Island thing or what, but we have what's called like firemen's fairs, where like they do fundraisers. The firemen, I guess, put them on, like local firemen, but they bring in Ferris wheel, Gravitron, Zipper, all these might mean nothing to you, the swinging ship, all this shit. We go to those all the time, me and my girl, like, especially because they're local and stuff. We'll just like see ones in town, we'll be like, oh, let's walk to the fucking fair tonight, whatever. But as far as like actual theme parks, there's one on Long Island. It's kind of half-assed. Adventureland. Shout out. I haven't been there since I was probably fucking 10 years old, but it still exists. And then the one you're talking about, Six Flags in New Jersey, I went there once. And that was the old, I don't know if they still do this, but it was like, if you bring a can of Coke, it's buy one, get one. And I went for like my buddy's probably like literally like 12th birthday party. And we all brought a can of Coke, so we could like pay half price essentially. And that was right when King Dakar just came out. Maybe, yeah, I don't know what year that was, but I swear we were there the year King Dakar came out, and no one wanted to go on it. I was like pushing ever, but because we were with a birthday party, A, you kind of had to go with the birthday boy, and B, we kind of had to like agree as a group what rides we were going to go on. So I was like, yo, King Dakar, like we came all the way here, we got to go on King Dakar. No, we went on the Superman roller coaster, which by the way was fucking dope. You like sit in it normally, but then it like lifts your legs up behind you, so you're like flying kind of vibe, like you're laying on your stomach almost. It was really cool. It does flips and shit, but we waited in line for like 2 fucking hours, dude. Like we didn't have the like special cut the line pass. I don't even know if they had that back then. They probably did, but yeah, dude, it was cool. But I was a kid. Haven't been to one as an adult, but I did used to love it. And if we're talking like, back to the fireman's fair, local fair shit, they had the zipper, which is like you're locked in the cage and your cage can individually spin, but also this contraption you're on spins. So like if you want, you could really make that motherfucker spin. And like that was the shit as a kid, dude. We used to just go on the zipper all the time. Half the kids were scared of it, so the line was always short. You would basically just get off and get right back on. I loved that. So I'll say that's like, I like to think I like roller coasters, but again, I haven't been to a theme park in fucking 20 something years. So that's just the reality. But as far as like Okay, the reality, Gaff and I would totally ride a roller coaster together and film it. I'll tell you that much. Well, I'm assuming if Gaff's down, as long as he's not like, bro, I'm gonna yak or something. Getting LT on a roller coaster seems like the most impossible task, unless it's like a friendly family roller coaster that like Tuki's about to go on. And Jed would probably do it. But where are me, Jed, and Gaff ever going to be at a theme park together? Because again, the closest one is kind of Six Flags in New Jersey. So that's that. All right, guys, let's go back to the questions. Thank you for the question, Danny Double D's. Infrared says, I'll give you one real question. What new MMA metric would you like to bet on that isn't already available? Example, strikes landed, control time, fouls. They're probably already available on prediction markets, but I mean through traditional gambling companies. That is a very interesting question. And now I got to think about it for a second. I would say that one thing I do want to bet on that pisses me off because I feel like I call it correctly a lot of the time is fight of the night. I'd love to just give me every fight, almost like you're betting on a future championship winner where each one has their own odds and they're gradually going to get longer as a more predictable, boring fight goes. But like, give me fucking, I wanted to take Royval, Lonnie Kavanaugh, fight of the night. What do you know? If fucking what, it's like shit like that would be fun. I know they do that fastest finish shit now. I don't love that because I feel like not only like, especially if there's like 3 or 4 fucking hammers on the card, it's like, well, I don't know which one's going to finish the guy quicker. Like, so I feel like that one's almost like a donation. Whereas I feel like fight of the night or performance of the night is like attainable. Like, or imagine doing a parlay. Like, yo, I think what's a card coming up? Uros Medic. I think Uros Medic is going to win a performance of the night bonus. And you get like less off the money line. Like you get better odds on it. That would be pretty fucking cool. As far as like stats, I'm looking at, you wrote strikes landed. They kind of already do that. They do like total significant strikes, over under, and you can like choose different increments of over. Like Gaff will always ladder shit like that if he's confident. Like let's say it's set at 25 and a half over under strikes. Gaff will be like, I think he's going to get 50. So he'll ladder like 30 plus significant, 40 plus significant, 50 plus significant. Control time is a cool one, especially like for the fucking Gamrots of the world and shit. Like, dude, control time, like, okay, I would look at that. Fouls is like, they're never gonna let us bet on. I mean, prediction market, sure, but like that feels too like dick towards the commission. Like, yeah, we know there's gonna be fouls. I don't know. I got to think on that one a little further, but I like where your head was at with that. Thank you, Infrared. March of 34 says, will you use the custom trivia board Taco for Short is building for you? And if so, will it automatically play the BC sound clip every time a strawweight question is asked? No to the latter, unfortunately. No, I mean, maybe. So here's the thing, guys. Taco for Short. Nice fella. Never met him. But he tweeted at me that he was making a whole custom prop quiz board. And it looks fucking sick. He posted the pictures. If you go on my Twitter right now, or his, Taco for Short, he posted the photos and I reposted it so you can see it on either. But it looks cool. It looks super easy to use. It automatically adds the points. It factors in the boost. All this shit would make my life so much easier. For all those people being like, put a timer on and shit. Like I could be able to do more shit if I was able to use his thing. What I will say is I have no idea who Taco for Short is. He messaged me and sent me like a zip file to download and was like, here's the game board. And I'm like, maybe it's like the boomer in me. Not that I'm a fucking boomer, but like I feel a little sketched out just downloading a link through a DM. Like, isn't this how like you get hacked, how viruses, I'm like, I don't love that idea. If he just put it on a public website and he's like, go to fucking main card. Well, that's a real website, but go to fucking propquiz.com or whatever and it's there, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'll use it, so I'm a little weary on it. I did DM him back and told him that, so I'm curious what he says back. Maybe he'll be able to put it on a real thing or whatever, but for now I'm gonna say no. But I do feel like he's probably means well and it's probably legit. I'm just being sketched out. I'm just fucking sketched out about a lot of shit, so I'm nervous about it. But if it's legit and it works, I'll fucking be forever grateful because that shit looks sick. So appreciate it. All right. Thanks, March of 34. By the way, March of 34 is the MK Reddit moderator, guys. And I appreciate him because he's always posting my shit. He's posting Gaff shit. He's posting MK. He's posting BC shit. He's posting everything. So he's a nice guy. He fucking keeps that shit running. Shout out Hammy. He says, do you use analytics for sports, meaning use math or programming to obtain data? I'm almost ashamed to say I don't. Not that I'm ashamed, but like, I am a big numbers guy. If you guys haven't already with my breakdowns, I'm like, this guy lands more strikes per minute. He lands more takedown. You know, like I'm always backing it up with the numbers, but that's just how I like justify my initial thought. Like, I think this guy's going to win. Why is he going to win? And then I'm like, oh, he's going to win because he lands more. He gets more takedown. You know, like I just justify with that. So I could see using analytics as like another justification. But I think I would get too hung up on it if it was working and I wouldn't put enough of my own like thought on it, or vice versa. I would like be fucking putting too much of my thought into the analytics and like tweaking. I don't know. I feel like I like the way I do it where I use stats, but I also just go off my vibes and like what do I remember about this fight or how do I see this fight playing out? And then I see if the stats back it up. And half the time I'll think, oh, I think this guy wins. And then I'll look at the stats and be like, God, what was I thinking? This guy's going to get his ass kicked. And then I look at the odds and the odds are like, yes, this guy is going to get his ass kicked. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I was. But sometimes those are the times you're like, maybe I take the dog here. I did kind of like him at first, you know? That's why I recommend to anyone who does bet, never look at the odds until you just like whatever research you do, whatever vibes you do, let those play out, then look at the odds, because it is interesting when you're like, oh, I'm going to take so-and-so money line in a parlay. And then you look and they're like Temerov last week. I was like, I'm taking Temerov in a parlay. He's probably like minus 200. And then I look and he's plus 110. And I'm like, what? Okay, I'll just take him money line. Like, you know, shit like that is nice. Whereas if I knew he was a dog, I might have been more like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll go Steve Ursa. You know, like you almost talk yourself out of it because of the odds. So I definitely recommend. One thing I'll just say to you guys, because I have, if you're in the chat and you want to ask questions, add a question mark on the end of it, please, because otherwise it doesn't show up as a fucking question for me, which is really annoying because it's a lot easier to see if it's a quote unquote question. So please and thank you. That's for later, but either way, I just appreciate it. Thank you, Hammy, for the question. Infrared again says, favorite integer. You know, this is obviously a joke. This is obviously a Luke Thomas joke, but you know, there's certain kinds of integers, right? Okay, there's favorite single digit integer is 0. I got to be honest. It's 0. I love the number 0. I always said if I was like an NBA player, like Russell Westbrook, baby, I'm rocking number 0. I might even go the Greg Ostertag, the 00. All right. That's like, those are vibes. Okay, guys, those are like, fuck your number. I don't even want to be a number. I'm 0. You know, that's how I feel with that. I like that. I will say growing up, I was always number 22. That's not like a birth date or anything either. I just always loved that number, 22. So like baseball, basketball, whatever, I was always fucking number 22. And then like favorite 3-digit number, you know, you got to like give a little whatever. I'm going to go fucking 420, baby. Let's go. No, but I always liked even numbers. And I, you know, think about it. I just told you 0, 22, you know, you add a 4 in there. You know, it's kind of nice, kind of nice. But yeah, those are some integers I like for sure. John Ray said, besides Ian Gary, who is arguably the rightful contender? Do you think the rightful top contender in any division fights for a belt this year? Oh, you're saying besides Ian Gary, who is arguably the rightful contender? I read that in a weird way. Do you think rightful top contender in any division fight for a belt this year? I.e. Sarukin, Evloev, Imavov. All right, let's look at the rankings real quick. So, well, let me make myself full screen too. First things first, Josh Van is probably fighting Pantoja next. You could make the argument that Manel Kopp is now the rightful contender. I'm going to say Pantoja is still the rightful contender. So there's one, we'll say, or half, whatever you want to do that. John Wood just said as recently as like a couple days ago that Merab is definitely fighting Piotr Yan next. That to me is still There's another one right there. Merab, rightful contender to Piotr. To the people you asked, Evloev, I think, is probably the most likely, just because Volk is very good with like, I want to fight the guy that ever, like even if the UFC's like that won't sell, he's like, I don't give a fuck. That's the hardest match. Like that's the guy I want, kind of shit. So I could totally see like Volk of all these three champions is going to call for the hardest fight, kind of thing. So I could see Volk Evloev. Gaethje and Arman feels further and further as we go. Real quick, I'm interjecting to say, Hammy just gifted 5 fucking memberships. Appreciate you, Hammy. You the mammy. You the mammy? You like that? Yeah. You the manny? I guess I should have said it. All right. Either way. Thank you, brother. Gaethje fucking, like, what is he going to do? What is Justin Gaethje going to do? Because rumors is Arman versus Charles. So, like, does Gaethje just wait for the winner? Does he fight Max? What? Either way, he's not fighting Arman next. Even if Arman beats Charles, I feel like he probably doesn't fight Arman. I hate to say it. I don't know why. Gary, you just mentioned, is getting his shot against Islam. And Islam is another one like Volk, who's just going to be like, whoever's next, brother. Like Prates, Morales, who gives a fuck? Islam's there. Sean Strickland and Imavov. So they have, this is the media rankings, by the way. Imavov's 3, Chimaev 1, Dricus 2, which is fucking crazy. I'll just say with this that fucking Imavov is probably not getting the next shot. So I'm going to say he doesn't get a chance. Wait, so what are we at now? I said the bottom 3 divisions, Josh Van, Piotr Jan, Volk. I think those 3 fight the number 1 contender. Olberg is out till 2027, so we're just going to leave that out. Espinal gone. That's got to count, right? Or are we saying Gon's no longer, like, you could argue like Volkov is actually, or Hokit even is a fucking, yeah, you can't really argue Hokit. I mean, no one would be mad if they made that fight, I don't think, but you can't really argue he's the number 1 contender. And then we got McKenzie and Whaley. That's not happening. We got Val, and they have Natalia as number 1. Did they already fight, or am I fucking tripping? Who was Valentina's last fight, dude? Was it Whaley? Oh, yeah. So she hasn't fought Natalia. All right. So Natalia and fucking, how has that not happened? How did I think that happened? Is that just been like so obvious for so long that we haven't fucking, and then you got Erin fighting Jasmine too. Winner of that could get the shot at Val. And then you got Kayla and, I mean, no one's going to be mad at Kayla Amanda, but technically Juliana Pena is the number 1 contender, and that ain't going to happen. So fuck, man. I guess 3 of them. I'll say 3 of them. The bottom 3 divisions: flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight. Bottom 3 men's divisions. All right, let's go to the next one. Shout out John Ray. Appreciate you, brother. Bullfrog Actual said, what the actual F could be done to save the light heavyweight division? Is it time for another season of Tough/Dana White Contender Series, or what? I mean, dude, I think if we learned anything, Tough and Contender Series are not the solution to any problems about depth. So I think that's actually the worst idea. It's not like you need Tough or Contender Series to get signed by the UFC. Like you could just be a good fighter and get signed. I think the reality is, and we say this all the time, especially for heavyweights. I know you're talking light heavyweights, but it's arguably the same fucking sized human beings. They're all, if you're athletic at 6'3" and 200 plus pounds, you're probably just going to go play a sport that pays better money / a more accessible sport. That's the other thing that like people don't ever like really factor in is like, you have to like pay to go train martial arts. Whereas like you kind of, at least in America, you kind of grow up playing, basketball, baseball, hockey, football, like maybe not hockey, but like soccer. You kind of just like grow up playing these sports for not free, but almost pennies, where it's like way more accessible to get better at them. You go to the local park, you go to the local school, they got the field, they got the court, they got all that shit. So it's like, there's no fucking like local MMA gym in the park where you're like, oh, I'll just go train there for a few hours, like, so I just feel like it's so unlikely for these guys to find MMA on their own when they're that athletic. They almost have to have a true passion for it, or just honestly like pull the Josh Hokett or the Greg Hardy or the Austin Lane, where you try and be good at one sport, you make it to the top, you fail, and then you're like, now what? Oh, I'll just fight people. And you end up being like one of the, maybe not, I just named Austin Lane and Greg Hardy, but like, you know what I mean? There's other, Shaw played football. There's other like football players. Gable Steveson, we could say he played technically, he made the team. So, but Gable's a perfect example. Gable was like coming out of college, literally when he won the first NCAA Division I championship. They were like, what are you going to do next? Go to the UFC, go to WWE, or go back to college? And he was like, I'm going back to college to win another one. And then he didn't. And then he went to the Olympics. And then he fucking went to the Bills. And then he went to WWE. I have the order all out of order. And now he's in the, it was literally the last thing on his list. And by the way, he got like, not kicked out, but like, booted out of all the, I don't know what the word to use is, but it's not like he was doing well in these other things and then was like, I care more about fighting. Like, no, they were pushing you out, and then you were like, all right, let's go fight. So, man, I don't know what the fuck could be done. I got to be honest. So someone like Lazy Bed might be like, yo, you got to sign so-and-so. You got to sign so-and-so. Like, he might know who these guys are. I'm talking regional guys, like the CFFCs, the Fury FC guys of the world. But as far as like, I'm trying to think, even like, does I keep calling them Bellator, man. Does PFL have any good light heavyweights? Luke Thomas was just talking about that Sullivan Cawley fight on last Saturday. That's like, sure, sign some fucking Bellator guys with some name value. Who the fuck cares? Look at Tyrell Fortune. When the UFC signed him, when I saw he was booked against Tybura, like, 6 months ago, whenever that was, I was like, bro, Tyrell Fortune, why the fuck is he here? Now look at him. I mean, he lost last weekend, but it's like, he's kind of like planted in the top 15 now. Just bring over a guy with so Sullivan Cawley's in the top 15 at light heavyweight. Like, all right, yeah. Sullivan Cawley, Dom Reyes, run it, like, I don't know, man. That's how I feel about it. Not much we can do. Shout out Bullfrog Actual, though. Rob Loria 95 said, if you had to give advice to someone who wanted to go into the MMA media influencer space, what advice would you give them? And also, what advice would you give 20-year-old Luke? Damn, that's a deep question. Advice to someone who wanted to go into the influencer or media space, I would just say a few things. Don't care what anyone thinks, and that includes like how many people are going to watch it. Dead ass, I was nervous. I was like, bro, we might get like 10 people watching this today. I have no fucking idea. We got 100 and something right now. That's way more than I expected. I did not expect even triple digits. So I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, I know I've like grown this a little bit, but I'm just saying, don't be scared to fucking do shit, even if no one's watching. Consistency is key. Fucking stick to a schedule and put out videos on that schedule. There's a reason everyone knows Prop Quiz is Fridays at 1:30. I don't have to tell you, and there's a reason I'm doing every fucking watch along. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here every fucking time. You guys know that, and that helps people always continue to show up. I would say don't focus on your equipment or anything right off the bat. Some people are like, I gotta have the best shit right away. It's like, you might realize 3 videos in that you actually don't enjoy doing this. So don't waste your time with that yet. I'll say just get comfortable, get used to doing your videos, get in a groove, doing them every week. And then as you start to build and you notice your followers start to build and shit, then start upgrading your equipment, because that's only going to bring more people. And like, dude, I have like the shittiest camera you can. I'm using my laptop camera right now, but my other camera, I have like the shittiest camera you can buy. This is like the shittiest good microphone you can buy. You know what I mean? Like, I'll eventually upgrade these, but I'm just saying you don't need to like start off like that. So that would be my advice. to anyone starting out? And then what advice would you give a 20-year-old me? I'm trying to think of where I was at 20 years old. I was obviously in college. But I went to college like thinking I was going to be a video editor. I grew up skateboarding and I was always the like I was pretty good at skateboarding, but I would always me and my friends would film each other and I was always editing it. Like I wanted to be a video editor because I would just go home and upload skate footage and edit footage and whatever. And that's like why I went to college. I went for media production because I was like, oh, I'm gonna like be an editor. Like I'll edit movies one day or something. I don't really know what I thought. And then I fucking went to college and was like, oh, I hate editing. Like I'm so far behind. I don't even like because I was using like iMovie and shit. And then like everyone in college is like, oh, Premiere, Avid, all these things. And I'm like, I'm way behind the curve. I don't know half this shit. So then I was like, I want to just I thought I wanted to be like a camera guy. I was like, I just want to be behind the scenes. I want to work on these cool things, but I don't actually want to be the guy in front of the camera. That was always my thing, which is inevitably how I probably fell into TDing. Like, all right, I'll run the show, but I don't want to be on it. And then just to follow up on the end of this story, eventually I got sick of being like, dude, it's so stressful to run a show because the talent just blames you forever. If shit went wrong during MK, who's to blame? It's probably me. You know what I mean? So it's like there's so much pressure that falls on you as the TD that it sucks sometimes. And I was always jealous of, the talent who waltzes in 5 minutes before we go live and all they got to do is sit here and talk. And it's not that hard. Like that was my logic. And I was like, dude, I could fucking do that. And that's what made me start doing it. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I have the know with how to run a show, and now I could just fucking talk on camera and hopefully just kind of swoop into that. But as far as my 20-year-old self, I was not thinking where I am today. So my advice for my 20-year-old self would maybe be to like go to class a little more, I would say, because I definitely skipped a lot of classes and I feel like I would have learned a lot more shit. I also like wish I knew I was going to go this route. I would have like asked to I always think like I would have in high school like worked on like the AV crew. I never did that shit. I was always like, damn, that would have been like right up my alley, but I was always like, those fucking nerds, I'm going skating, I was like, fuck that. But same with college. I wish I was like running the like school productions or something. Like you always hear about, like Ariel always talks about like, oh, I was on my, Syracuse radio station. And I'm always like, damn, how come I didn't do anything in college where I was like running shit like I do now, So that would be my advice, just to like do more shit like that. Participate more, I guess I'd say. Shout out to Stephen Reese, who said, Google opinion reward money is back, baby. I don't know what that means, but thank you for the $2 Canadian. Appreciate you, brother. Let's go back to the questions. Shout out Rob Loria for that question. Lazy Bed MMA. We know this guy. He said, what did Luke and BC smell like? I bet BC smelled like hot dogs and LT like farts and regret. Don't answer this. LOL. Well, now I'm going to give a full in-depth answer on this. So you see, guys, they both smell. Now, here's the actual reality. I did never remember what people smell like unless they smell terrible. That's just the truth. You know what I mean? Like if you're around someone, even if it's just BO one day, you're like, oh, that's that guy who had BO that time. I'm never like, ooh, that's that guy who had that really good cologne that time. You know what I mean? So I will say I have no recollection of what either of them smell like. And that's a good thing. That just means they didn't smell bad. And that's surprising. And I'm not saying anything for them, but the three of us, we all travel pretty far, sweating and shit. I'm surprised we don't all stink more when we get there. Maybe I do. Maybe they don't tell me. They're like, yo, Luke stinks. There's also like, you may or may not have smoked a joint 5 minutes before walking in. So I may stink otherwise, but I feel like BC never smelled like hot dogs. I got to be honest. LT has definitely smelled like farts before. And I've definitely been in the bathroom with LT before, and it is not a pleasant sight. I'll just say that much. Obviously the shitting bathroom, guys. The non-shitting bathroom is a private bathroom. The shitting bathroom, there's like 2 stalls, 2 urinals, But yeah. There you go. That's the detail we need. Uh Shout out to Devin Doherty Guitar. He said, "What's your favorite moment so far from working on MK?" Damn, man, there's a lot. All right, well, I'm gonna start with like the ones you guys probably know, like the ones that happened on air, and then I'll go into like more behind the scenes shit. So shit that happened on air, Luke Thomas being late that time, fucking epic. BC's like, yo, is there any way we can get a camera downstairs? We fucking strapped a live view onto Jake Von Amsterdam. He goes downstairs, he's filming the street corner, whatever. We get Luke coming out of the car. Hilarious moment in MK history. Um, in Cantu karaoke with Luke, that whole episode. That's also the episode that Jake Von Amsterdam comes on camera, does his whole British bit, and Luke's like losing his mind. They do in Cantu karaoke. That it was just like an epic in studio episode, one of the best. Anytime a fighter came in for RSD was always fucking epic. We'd all be like so hyped for that. There was one specifically, I want to say it was Anthony Smith. There was like an MSG card, and Anthony Smith was working the desk, so he was in New York. So he came at like dumb early, like 9 a.m. Shout out Saul, just gifted 5 memberships. Appreciate you, Saul. Thank you, brother. He comes in at like 9 a.m. and keep in mind, the fucking studio was in New Jersey and I live on Long Island. It took me 2 hours to get there. So if he's coming in at 9 a.m., that's like, okay, we have to be there probably 2 hours before he gets there to set everything up. I had to wake up at like 4 a.m. that morning. You know what I mean? Like dumb early because it's like 2 hours to get to Jersey and then get set up and then whatever. All right. But anyways, he comes in, we do the RSD. Anthony, super cool, whatever. He leaves. Now it's like me, Gaff, our boy Silky, who was like the audio engineer, and then this dude Chris, who was one of the producers, who was kind of just like filling in for Ashley that day. But either way, one of the producers. And we were all like, yo, what do we do? Oh, because we were doing a watch along later for that MSG card with Luke and Brian. So we had to like be back. Like we fucking got up at 4 a.m., been in the studio since 6 a.m., and we're done at 10 a.m. And now we have to be back at like 4 p.m. to set up for the night. And we're like, what do we do for the next fucking 6 hours in New Jersey? Like, I'm not going to go home. So we're like, oh, yo, there's a brewery nearby. So we just go to this fucking brewery nearby, bro. Allegedly drinks were had. And then we just go back to the studio. And then we're like, let's go on the roof and smoke a joint. You know, the roof they used to do the pregame previews on. So we go up on the roof. We used to do that a lot. Like that was our smoking spot. Dope smoking spot. You're overlooking literally New York City and Jersey City. You know, it's fucking dope, especially at night. And we smoke up there and then we just go down. And now we're like in a room with like Showtime people and we're all just fucking like reek of alcohol, reek of weed and whatever. And everyone's like, where the fuck were you guys? We're like, nothing, you know, like whatever. That was one of the funner times just because we were like lit that whole watch along. One of the first watch alongs, we brought in Manich's barber, Neon Dion. He like cut Luke and Brian's hair. That was fucking epic. There's a lot of good moments, man. Going to like, we got drunk. Gaff and I got drunk, and then we went to Extreme Couture with Luke and Brian. And Luke and Brian did a whole, it was basically like Tristan, shout out Tristan, and our boy Brandon. They were going as the cameramen just to record Luke, Brian, and Nixick do an interview. And Gaff and I were like, oh, you guys are going to Extreme Couture? Like, we're literally like walking back from the bar, like, you guys are going to Extreme Couture? We'll go. And we're just like fucking lit. And then Tristan kept being like, Luke, you reek like alcohol. But he was like just trying to be a dick about it. And I don't know if I actually did, but he kept saying it to try and be a dick about it. And I got very self-conscious because we're in the gym. Nixick's like, who the fuck are these guys? I'm like, So it was a good time. It was a good time, guys. A lot of good times on that show. Got to be honest. Let's go back. Favorite card you've well, first of all, thank you, Devin Doherty. Danny Double D said, favorite card you've streamed this year, whether for betting or action. I think the best card of the year, at least on paper, was that fucking Olberg Yuri card. Because that main event, like whatever, injury or not, it was pretty fucking epic, the comeback. But I remember the prelims were stacked, dude. The prelims had like, who was on them? Pico and Pitbull was on the prelims. Like, Fucking Kevin Holland was on the prelims against someone good. Vicente Luque, Kelvin Gastelum was on the like it was like shit like that where I was like, this card is stacked. Like these are fights that they would put in an Apex main event and tell us it's a good card, you know? So like I remember being hyped on that card. As far as betting, let me look now at I got to be honest, I haven't had a great betting year, so I don't even remember. I did have a perfect card this weekend, but one of the bets got voided because Dulatov pulled out, so it was only fucking 2.74 units. Like some of the perfect cards I had last year, I got like 7 units off of. That hasn't happened this year. The Baku card was pretty good. I went perfect on that. The Aljo Zalal card, I did really good on. I did lose one of my bets, but I still got 3 units on that. Yeah, those are the only ones coming to mind. I'm trying to think if there was like a big dog that one of my more favorite bets. I think it was only like plus 100, but Cub Swanson, Nate Landwehr to not go the distance at plus money, and that fight ends in like 2 minutes. It was like fuck yeah. So that was one of my more favorite ones. Anytime you call a fucking big dog and they win, it's great. I feel like that hasn't happened much this year. Like I don't think I've gotten bigger than like a plus 200 dog, and I wouldn't even know who it was. Bunch of plus 1 somethings like Temerov last weekend, but no one else. Shout out Danny Double D's. Dana Blanco said, thoughts on Dana putting a 250K bounty on the 1-of-1 Trump auto in the UFC 250 card set. All right. Well, what does this actually mean, Dana? Like Dana says, like first person to pay 250K gets this kind of thing. Who the fuck wants a 1-of-1 Trump auto on a UFC card? Like I just saw like Connor Burks pull out like a Josh Gad like autograph card. Like where do these come from? Who is like Trump sign this? You know, like I mean maybe at Freedom 250 I kind of get that, but it still just feels like any way to make money, right? You know, like what the fuck? It's more just like, do you want the president's autograph for $250,000? Like, is anyone in it for the like? I don't know, man. That's just weird. That's just weird. Also, like, let it fucking break like any other pack. Throw it in a fucking box, and one lucky winner's gonna pull it, or unlucky winner. Who knows? Maybe they just sell it right away. They'd be like, "Fuck this shit, I don't want it." Or maybe they'd be like, "Hell yeah, this is the greatest thing ever." Who knows? Dana Blanco back to back says, "Can you confirm that Carlos Prates is not Fenix Flexin?" I got to be honest, Dana Blanco. I do not know who Fenix Flexin is. And I'm also going to be honest, it sounds like a porn star. Is it a porn star? No, Fenix Flexin, American rapper. He kind of looks like Carlos Prates. I could see it. I could definitely see it. I don't know anything about this person. They're a Los Angeles-based rapper and founding member of the influential West Coast hip-hop group Shoreline Mafia. All right. I feel like if you're a rapper and you came out after like 2010, I have no idea who you are. I got to be honest. Shout out David John, who said LIL live chat greater than LT live chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. We're almost out of questions. I'm going to have to start going to your guys' questions in the chat there. We got one left here. One left from our boy, Cosmo Kramer. He said, how did you first get introduced with sports gambling? Has your betting strategies changed over time? As somebody that doesn't live in a state where you can legally gamble in sports online, I find it interesting. Dude, I don't even know the answer to this. So I could think it goes as far back as like my dad every Super Bowl would always be like, let's throw $5 a quarter, so $20 into a pot. We do it with everyone in the family. And then we all guess the score at the end of every quarter. And you'd had to put the team and the scores. And then whoever was closest to the actual score would win, you know, whatever, $20 or whatever the fucking pot was for that quarter. That's the earliest I remember any type of sports gambling. Then at my job, like first out of college, we used to stream UFC Fight Pass. So we'd stream every UFC event. Brother, I had a spreadsheet. I had chain emails. I was emailing like everyone in the company that was a fucking UFC fan, every card. We probably had like at most 20 at a time. Nothing crazy, but average, maybe 10 people a card, something like that. And we'd all throw, it was never much. We'd all throw $1 and there'd be a cup just out in the office full of money. And we would just all, it was like a honor system. Everyone throw $1 in the cup. And sometimes people would come in with like a $20 bill and be like, yo, I owe money to the cup. I never put in the last 4 weeks or whatever, like shit like that. But if no one won, we would let the money roll over. So there were times I remember UFC 199, Bisping Rockhold. Everyone picked Rockhold to win. And this one dude picked Bisping to win. And he ended up breaking the tie and winning the pot. And the pot keep in mind, $1 a person, and it just rolled over. It was like $150 in the pot. It was like a huge hit, considering he threw in $1 that night. And he was one of those people who never wasn't like a repeat, like, oh, I'm every card throwing in $1. He would like randomly be like, I'll be in on this card. It's a big card. You know, it was a pay-per-view. So like, I feel like he lucked out so much, literally $1 to win 150. It was crazy. But yeah, so we started doing that. Then it became legal in New York, and I pretty much immediately downloaded it. They had all those promos, you know, get $200, whatever. And I remember it exactly. I was at a brewery with my girlfriend and her dad, and I was like, yo, I just downloaded I think it was DraftKings. I was like, I just downloaded this betting app. Should we bet? And they were like, yeah. And we each put like a stupid NHL bet in. I bet like the Devils money line, and like it was like, I was like, I'll throw $2 on the Devils. And then my girlfriend's like, put 5 on the Mets for me or something. And it was like, okay. And then her dad was like, put 10 on this for me. And I like did them all, and then none of them hit. And it was like so stupid. And then I was like, why was I taking their bets on my app too? Why weren't they, whatever. But that was my first actual like legal bet through the New York betting system. But I don't know. I feel like it's always just been part of fight night, especially for me, is like, let's throw a few bucks on this. Used to do it with my brother-in-law too. We'd be watching a card, or like I'd be like, yo, we got to tune into this card. He didn't give a fuck. I'd be like, let's throw 5 on the main event. He'd beat me most times too, which really sucked. Shout out to C Shank, who just became a member. Appreciate you. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Oh yeah, way better. Way better. Dude, and C Shank just gifted 20 memberships. Appreciate you, brother. Let's fucking go. We got shanked, guys. That's the new. We have someone in the chat named Peggy, and we always say we got pegged when they gift memberships. We're getting shanked right now. All right, guys. Appreciate you, bro. We just got shanked. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. All right. That's it for all the questions on the members tab, whatever the fuck it's called. But again, guys, if you are a member, I'll put these up every week. You know, maybe if I feel like we had a good amount this week. You know, we've been live for like an hour already, and that was 18 questions. But reminder to all members or anyone in here watching this after the fact, go post on that. I'll try and post it like Monday nights, so you can start commenting, and then obviously Wednesday we'll go over them. But yeah, I'm happy with that turnout, guys. I'm happy with that. Now let's fucking scroll up in this bitch and go through some questions. Oh my god, we got a lot. All right. Well, first of all, I'm only going to go to the question marks. I'm going to be honest with you guys. So here we go. John Ray. So Anthony Smith, crazy shit. Bro. So I didn't see if any more details came out today. All I saw was domestic violence and, kidnap and whatever it was, in prison. All that is kind of the same thing, in my opinion, like more like, physically harming someone and making them like not leave the house, essentially, is what I got out of that. Yeah, I want to see more details. I'll say, if you guys have more details, please put them in the comments. Again, I haven't looked up the story today. I don't know if more details came out, but just the fact that this is the same person who had that dude break into his house and try and harm him and his family is just a wild turn of events, man. I don't know. Again, I'm not going to comment so much on him until I know what actually happened, but just weird that it's crazy. Skimming. Oh, Lazy was wondering if we got intro music. You know we got intro music, baby. Let's keep going. You know the question. What we smoking on, Luke? It's the same shit I had on Saturday. It's like strawberry cough or something. I'm not the biggest fan of it, guys. I got to be honest. It's I hate the strawberry to me seems so fake, almost like I don't know, man. I don't love the fruity flavored fucking. Give me some fucking sour D. Trying to point to it. There it is. Give me some sour D. Give me some OG Kush. Give me something fucking basic. I don't need this strawberry cough shit, but you know, it's getting the job done. Never noticed the gloves behind you. How big are your hands? Oh, those? Yeah, my hands are pretty small, dude. We're talking like those fit. You know, those fit. No, those are I don't know if you're joking or not, but those are like a Christmas ornament vibe. Those are from the MK studio. Straight stolen valor right there. Do pinky promise? What's the venue for PFL LI? UBS Arena, dude. So they're playing where the Islanders play, which is an arena I'm very familiar with. They did not sell to the whole, like, essentially the octagon, the smart cage. The smart cage is in the middle. They blocked off everything behind it, and they blocked off the whole upper. And there's plenty of tickets left. I don't know how it's going to look, guys. I'm just hopeful because when I go to UFC events, me being nobody, they put me up in the nosebleeds as far as seating. I don't know any media person that's going to PFL Long Island, and I've asked a lot, and I'm hopeful that means I'll be sitting cage side or, you know, like media row vibes, because that would be sick. I'm also going alone. Gaff was supposed to come, but he never fucking got approved, so now I'm kind of like, shit, man. I better be cage side, otherwise I'm going to be like, fuck this shit. I don't want to watch, you know, main card is one thing, but like, I don't want to watch. Actually, first fight of the night is a Sarah Longo guy too. So yeah, maybe I should watch my mouth. Will Dakota ever fight Liz or fight in the UFC? I think the answer is the same for both. No. So I did watch her interview on Ariel yesterday, but I also like was doing other shit and half listening. Did she said she has like 4 fights left or something, or is that just like public knowledge? Either way, she's got multiple fights left. Why wouldn't Liz be next no matter what? You know what I mean? I think Liz is next no matter what. I think if John Martin is smart, and I think he is, I think Dakota beats her on Friday, and they have maybe Liz is even there, and they fucking do the face off right then and there, Liz and Dakota, and they announce, you know, RAF style. They announce Liz and Dakota happening in fucking November, back here on Long Island. No, I'm just hopeful they come back because anytime you can go to an event on a Friday too, it's money. That is money. Biggest betting win and loss. Biggest betting win, I've talked about this a lot, was well, just in terms of odds, was a 3-leg NBA triple-double parlay. And it was LeBron to get a triple-double, Jokic to get a triple-double, and Josh Hart to get a triple-double. And it was plus 9,000 something. And that was pretty dope because it was just kind of I needed a profit boost to use, you know, and I was like, whatever, I'll throw this in. And it fucking hit. Biggest loss is nothing too big, dude. I'm very smart about how much money you know, like people can joke, oh, I bet his life saved all this shit. Like I don't bet a lot at all, win or lose. And that's my way of having fun with it no matter what, you know, like some people get really upset when their bets start to lose. I'm kind of just like, that sucks. You know, I'll hear about it in the comments on my bet breakdown, whatever. You know, it's not like, ooh, I can't eat this week, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is with that. How much money can I legally put on Mike Perry to win via murder versus Dylan Dennis? I don't think there's going to be betting. I mean, maybe there will. What is this, MMA? Yeah, right? Like, dude, this shit is like, this can't be happening, right? And I just mean like Dylan Dennis isn't going to show up, right? Like, what does he have to gain from fighting Mike Perry on a random thing that no one's ever heard of? I don't know. Have you seen the video from Fight Society? You found the dispatch calls? Oh, shit. No, we're talking Anthony Smith. I have not seen that, but now I'm Now I'm both worried and intrigued. Where do we think Urseg goes from here? Oh, God. Who is like a pillow fisted fighter in the like bottom 15? That's who you need. How about like, oh, God. It's too bad he just fought Tim. Alex Perez? What about Alex Perez? That's not terrible. Or Moreno? Oh, they already fought. What am I saying? Tagir Ulanbekov, he might get wrestle fucked, but someone who's I'm looking. There's like Edgar Chirez at 15. Like, no, that ain't it. That ain't it. You could make Almabayev fight down and do Almabayev Urseg. I'd still probably favor Urseg, but at least Almabayev probably doesn't knock him out. Yeah, or you go unranked, or you move up to 35. Only he knows if that's even a thing, but I don't know. This one didn't have a question mark, but I'm lucky I saw it because it was long and I saw one question mark in there. Oh, you put a question mark. All right. So here's what's annoying. I guess if you put a question mark at the end, it shows up. Oh no, now it's telling me you have a question mark. All right. I don't know, man. Thanks for doing this, Luke. Do you think this is a space to take over combining LT's film studies with your bet picks? You guys could eclipse We Want Picks. No, I think realistically, Luke probably just wants to do his own thing at this point. But if you just mean separately, like LT does film study and then I do, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like if we did it on like it's one thing. If Luke did film study on MK, that would be one thing. That would be cool, but I don't think so otherwise. Let's see. Best sativa strain, man, none of them. I hate sativas. I wouldn't even know what the best one is. I got to be honest, I get so annoyed when like I'll get bud and they'll be like, yeah, it's strawberry cough. And then I'm like, oh, word. And then I'll go on like Leafly and be like, strawberry cough. And it's like sativa dominant. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, so I wouldn't know which one. Like, I wouldn't, because I don't buy sativa, I wouldn't know what's the best strain kind of thing. I would just pick whatever sounded the best. Like, give me the lemon OG haze or something. I don't know. Jose during the show with the hands on camera was funny, and the first person view that Ben did. Oh, you're right. We're talking funny moments. Ben with the fucking GoPro is definitely a goated moment. I forgot all about that. He did that twice, and the first time was changing the background of various Colby Covington pictures. That was good. But yeah. Jose hands on his head, yeah. Excited for Friday now? Let's go. Sativa, if you consider Blue Dream a sativa, other than that, Super Silver Haze. Yeah, again, see, I get like turned off as soon as I hear haze. I'm like, sativa. Ben's GoPro on the head was hilarious. Luke, you've never been to Six Flags? No, I said I did. I went when I was like 12 for a birthday party. Just once. Favorite ride at Six Flags or in general? In general, got to be the zipper that I was talking about earlier. But at fucking Six Flags, I guess the Superman thing. Because we went on like lame shit after that. Again, I was the thrill seeker. I'm getting political ads during this stream. This is a Luke Thomas live chat ripoff. Total BS. Dude, you know what I was thinking is so funny that everyone keeps saying LILGP, like Long Island Luke gets political, but I'm like, LILGP is just the main car minute watch along. It's Long Island Luke Gaff Pierre, right? That there you go. There you go. Talking about Sigaflag? Yeah. I actually saw a comment Brendan Schaub made about Ian Gary today, and it was actually a pretty like decent take. When is PFL card? Fridays or Saturday? It is Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So like 3 hours after morning combat ends, it starts. Do you remember Chris Braxton? Oh, you were just asking someone else a question. We talk about Gary's cuckage. We didn't, but again, guys, exclusive interview with Glenn Foes to Bros. It's a quick one. It's in the middle of the episode. You got to go to the Ian Gary part. But Glenn Gary, the third Gary brother, gives his take on the whole situation, and he goes real in depth about it. And it's actually like worth a listen. Because what Sean Gary is saying, it seems could be true based on what Glenn backed up. So I'm interested. How do you take your coffee? I take my coffee black. I'm trying to tip it, but I don't want it to spill. How far away? Oh my God, we're gonna spill. I can't. I'm just past the line. But yeah. BC used to make fun of me every morning because I would say, I'm gonna go make my coffee. And he'd say, yeah, a cup of coffee. But I still say it every morning, and BC's just not there to poke fun. Maybe everyone else pokes fun at it when I leave. I don't know. Have you ever done fantasy football? Yes, dude. I haven't in like not crazy long. Maybe like since the pandemic, I haven't done it. But used to do it in college. That's probably where I first started doing it, and always had a ton of fun with it. Never really had a solid group. I do fantasy hockey that with a bunch of guys from high school. They've had the league since we were like 16. I've only been in it since like 2018. But it's pretty crazy because it's literally we've had the league for fucking 16, 17 years. No, 18 years. 18 years, yeah. So that's more fun. Like everyone comes over. I do the draft every year. Everyone comes over. We fucking, last year we got a draft board for the first time ever. So that was a lot of fun. But normally it's like me on a spreadsheet, and then we put the fucking spreadsheet on the computer or on the TV, and I'm like updating it in real time. Total pain in the ass. This year I was like, I'm splurging for the fucking board. I'm not doing the sheet. But yeah, so fantasy hockey is where it's at as far as I'm concerned. But I'm in Gaff's fantasy baseball league. Like I'll play any fantasy sport if someone's like, yo, I got a league. Like that's something we should do this year, like a main card minute fantasy football league or something. I'll probably stop paying attention 2 weeks in, but like it'll be fun for a week. Are you a fan of? Nope. Not a fan of those. So PFL is actually doing a Friday instead of going head to head with UFC like they've been doing lately. Yeah. I do think it's all about what days they can get booked. Like I think they lucked out last weekend that the UFC was in Abu Dhabi. I don't think they knew the UFC was in Abu Dhabi. I think they double booked again and just lucked out that, good thing ours was that night and theirs was during the day. This is like, please just keep doing Friday because, again, if it's local, which this one is, I'll gladly go on a Friday. It's not like I do a PFL watch along anyway, usually. So I'll gladly just go on a Friday to the event and not have to choose now between, should I stay home, do a UFC watch along, or go to this PFL event? Like, I'm all for Fridays. It's better for their brand, too. There's no reason not to. Why does UFC care what sells at this point with the Paramount deal? Just put on fights and drop ticket prices if necessary. Yeah. Here's the thing. Everyone keeps buying the tickets. If go look at the PFL card right now, seriously. If you guys see the PFL card right now and realize how like fucking depleted that is as far as ticket sales, there's a reason the UFC goes new gate record every time. They're selling out. And maybe there's like, you're in Serbia, like, damn well Serbia's a sellout. They've never had a fucking UFC card before. Take that aside. Why are they selling out on fucking, even last time they were on Long Island, it was Ortega, Yair. Gaff and I were like, should we go? Cheapest ticket was like $150, which I know sounds reasonable at this point because they haven't gone below that in a minute. But we were both like, $150? This card sucks. Fuck that. Like, Bro, I'm trying to pay like $70 to see a UFC event. Like it used to be, you know? PFL this weekend, by the way, you can get in the building for like $40 if anyone wants to go. And all the tickets are close. Again, they blocked off the top. I'm just saying, if you're local to the New York area, I feel like PFL is worth it. I also just realized we got a bunch of super chats, so I'll throw those up now. First is Justin, who said, how did you and LT meet and how'd you join MK? So shout out my boy Gaff. He's on the Main Car Minute watch along with me every Saturday. Him and I worked together out of college, Gaff and I. We worked together for like, I don't know, 6 years or something. And then Gaff left and whatever, just got a new job. And we kind of kept in touch loosely. And then I never had like social media up until I made this channel. Like I never had an Instagram or anything like that. And my girlfriend obviously did, and she would always like show me pictures of like Gaff and be like, yo, look, what's Gaff doing? Because my girlfriend worked with us too, so we all were friends. And she's like, I'm like, yo, wait, what? It was like a picture of like Gaff and Helwani, a picture of like Gaff and like I don't know, Chris Weidman, like random like shit. And I'm like, dude, what is Gaff? So I messaged Gaff on my girlfriend's Instagram and was like, yo, it's Luke, like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I work for Malka, which was a production company. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, well, let me know if you ever have an opening or something, because like that your job looks sick. And he's like, for sure, bro. And then, months go by. I'm listening to Morning Combat one day and I hear them say like, shout out Gaff in the back, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait. I'm like, Gaff was working with like a bunch of UFC people. How many people are there named Gaff? Like, I feel like Gaff's the only person I know named Gaff. And then I'm like, what the fuck? So I text Gaff and I'm like, yo, do you work on Morning Combat? And he's like, yeah, bro. And I was like, what? I've been listening to Morning Combat for the last like few months now. I'm like, that's crazy. And then I was like, that's sick, dude. And then Gaff texted me like a month later and was like, yo, email. And he gave me Jay Aaron's email, Jason Aaron, and Manich's email, and was like, email both these guys. Tell them you're my friend. Tell them, your background, send your resume, whatever. So I did. And then like a week later, had an interview with Manich and Jay and got hired there. That company, Malka, did Morning Combat. So we did MK I got hired in 2022, like beginning of 2022. But then end of 2023, so for 2 years, we all got let go, including like essentially Morning Combat, because Showtime got fizzled. Then LT and BC are starting MK back up like 2 months later, and they're like, we need a TD. And they hit me up and we're like, yo, can you come back? And I was working full time at a news station, but they were only doing Monday's show and I was off on Monday. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Because I was miserable at the news station and I was like, fuck yeah, I loved working on Morning Combat. Like even on my day off, I'll gladly do this because maybe it grows into something. And thankfully it fucking did, because I quit that news job. As soon as MK went 2 days a week, I was like, fuck that news job. I'm out. And now I'm like fully entrenched in like MMA like worlds, which is great. So yeah. So we essentially met through my job, and Gaff is the reason I joined. Thank you, by the way, for the $2. Next up, we got C Shank with, is this real? $200? Is that dollars or something else? I got it. Is this real? No, 200 something else. Okay, I don't know what it is. But either way, thank you for the 200. I don't know if that's a lot of money or not. I'm going to treat it like it's a lot of money. Thank you so much for 200. What was your biggest ever win betting on a fight night of fights in terms of units, if not comfortable disclosing amounts? So in the era of tracking my bets, which is beginning of 2024, let's see. I'm just going to say them out loud as we go. First of all, first 2 cards of 2024. 5.07 units and 5.47 units. So I was up 10.54 units after 2 cards. That's probably what started such a good fucking streak. There's another 5.8. We got 6.99. That's what it is right there. 712. I believe that is Derek Lewis, Taliesin Teixeira. It was a Nashville card. And I think the reason it's so high is because I bet on Derek Lewis money line and he was like plus 250. So that alone cashing, and then my 2 other bets cashing was just a great night. So that would be the best as far as like in this era. I will also say back when I worked at my old job, I went to a Knicks game one night. I think it was Knicks Cavs, and I missed the card, and it was an Australia card. I can't remember who headlined it, but it was like full of Australians on the prelims, and I fucking hit like every single bet, and I sweeped like the picks. I got like every single pick right. And it was like one of the better fucking betting prediction nights ever, but I didn't watch a second of the card because I was at the Knicks game. I can't even remember who headlined it. This is like 2021-ish, probably 2022, something like that. So I don't even remember. Maybe it wasn't that far back, actually, because I would have bet on it. So who knows? But it was years ago, put it that way. Next up, Jonah Far Out. Thank you for the 15, Jonah. He said, do you work on Foes to Bros? Why do they upload to the Mac Life and not the new channel? The answer is yes. I work on Foes to Bros. Same pretty much role I do on MK. Again, everyone likes to call me a producer, guys. To me, a producer produces segments. They come up with ideas. They do all this. I'm just cutting Ben and Oscar are the brains behind all that. They make the rundown. They say, we want to do this idea. They say, can you get this clip ready for us? Can you get this ready? And I just get it all ready for them. And then we record the show. Because it's not live, sometimes there's a little editing involved afterwards. But other than that, it's essentially just directing the show, editing it, whatever. But yes, I am with them. Shout out Foes to Bros. Everyone should go watch it. They upload to the Mac Life because the Mac Life has way more subscribers. The Mac Life has like 1 million something subscribers. The Foes to Bros channel is, I think, Ben's old channel. He just like renamed it. It has like 3,000 subscribers. What I will say is all the shorts, I believe, are going to get posted on the Foes to Bros channel. It's just kind of a way of getting more people to see the show and get familiar with the show, I think. I don't know if they're eventually going to move it over to the other one, but I would just say if you're ever looking for the episode from like, I can guarantee up until I tell you otherwise, they're going to be on the Mac Life. So that's where you should look. Also, our schedule for that has been all over the place. Like, they don't want to do premieres, which I want to do premieres because I like talking to you guys in the live chat and shit. And I like seeing what people react to in real time, like laughing at a joke or something. But they want to just upload them. So we've been uploading them at 11 a.m. Tuesdays. But this week we recorded it on Sunday. We normally record on Monday. And we were like, oh, well, let's just put it out tomorrow. Like, no reason to like hold on to it for another 24 hours. Like, so if anyone's wondering, like, oh, fuck, this came out a day early, that's why. But yeah, that shit's going well. And hopefully everyone goes and checks it out. Thank you, Jonah. All right, let's get back to the questions in here. Where's Natty Ice at? What happened to her? Yeah, dude, I don't know. The fact that I thought she fought Chevy already says all. I was like, yeah, she already lost to the champ. She's done. You know, like, wait, did she fight like Furo or something? Did she fight someone? Am I just making shit up? Natalia Silva. No, she did. Yeah. Rose Namajunas was her last fight. It was January this year. It's not that long ago, I guess. Oh, and Lazy said she's been mending an injury. There you go. Favorite Val Kilmer role? Oh, God, guys. I'm so not a movie guy. I will say I did see Obsession 2 nights ago. Thought it was really good. You know, me having to Google who Val Kilmer even is just to see if I've seen any movies with him will tell you all you need to know. I've never seen Top Gun, never seen Batman Forever, never seen Heat. You know, these are just some of the movies that are popping up on his IMDb. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, he's in a Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Maybe I saw that. Oh, he plays the voice of a bong in Robot Chicken. Maybe I saw that. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen anything with him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really bad. I'm not the movie guy. But if you go on to talk obsession, then I'm the movie guy. Gifting memberships in a members only chat is like the Obama giving himself a medal meme. This isn't a members only chat. Anyone can be in. It's a subscribers only chat. That's different. Members are again, members just get priority on the initial post. There's technically no benefit to being a live member here unless you're just an OG. And I'm like, shout out to whoever, OG. How are there non-members in the chat? Because again, it's open to everyone. It's open to everyone. Open to everyone. Does your work in MK main car minute generate enough money to pay the bills? Do you also have a 9-to-5 job? I do not have a 9-to-5 job. My jobs, plural, are morning combat, main car minute, foes to bros. And I brought this up on my live or my watch along over the weekend. Like, I'm technically a freelancer. I have a few contacts that hit me up from time to time. Like Manich, for example, who will be like, yo, can you do this job? It's 3 days. It's in fucking Pittsburgh or whatever. That was the most recent job Manich hit me up for. And I'm like, ooh, one of those days is Friday. So now I got to find someone to cover MK on Friday. And Manich and Gaff are both on this job. They're the only other fucking TDs I know. So now it's like, shit, who covers MK? So I usually have to like bail on those. But I'll just say yes, MK. Honestly, MK alone helps. It pays the bills, and that's great. If MK ever goes away, I'm fucked. I gotta get a real job probably, because like main car minute definitely does not generate enough money, and Fosta Bros is good, but it's still starting out, and who knows how long it'll go, because obviously you got to make money at the same time. So we'll see, but knock on wood, fingers crossed, everything's good. Oh, I keep Meat Rocket asks questions, so I keep going to pull them up, but it's just him talking to other people in the chat. What's wrong with your name? My name? I don't know. Do you guys like metal music at all? I don't know. Like what how metally do I go? I'll say like I feel like Alice in Chains is like the metaliest I'll go. And that's like grunge. It's not even metal. You know what I mean? But there's certain, like Man in the Box has like a very like metal feel to it, but it's not like a metal song. Yeah, I don't really like I've never got into like Metallica even. He said you guys being you and Gaff. Gaff I think is like all rap. I don't think Gaff listens to much definitely not metal. Gaff's girlfriend is into like a lot of the music comment like 90s shit. So I feel like me and Gaff's girlfriend actually have a lot of the same taste, but Gaff's always going to like the, Rolling Loud, like those big like rap festivals and shit. By the way, I was just looking at my flashbacks. So 3 years ago to the day, or I guess it was 3 years ago yesterday, I did Rick Ross and Pusha T concert for that job I used to work for. And I like got this whole fucking private concert of Pusha T. Well, it was clips. Pusha T and Malice doing their shit. And it was fucking sick, dude. I'm trying to pull up a video or something. I had to like discreetly film these videos, so they're a little sketchy. But yeah. Just overlooking New York City, and then fucking clips. Pusha T and Malice on the stage. It was dope. I don't know if they're on the stage for that video, but there's a few more here. It was pretty sick. But that's like the only, like, I listened to rap back in the day, and I feel like those are still the only people I like, like Pusha T is my favorite fucking rapper, you know what I mean? So, but otherwise, like Rolling Loud, I feel like, I don't know, half those fucking people. Who's the Helio Gracie of gift memberships? What makes them the Helio? Like, is it like, who's the fucking like, there's a lot of people that are fucking dope with giving the memberships. Max is really degenerate MMA fan. He's always fucking giving them. Peggy is always giving them. Lazy Bed will chime in. Fuck, I don't want to leave anyone out. I'm gonna feel bad. Devin Doherty, Mom Fed Me Drano. They're always coming in. Fuck, I'm definitely forgetting people. Don't let me do it. Don't let me do it. Elgato de Santiago, thank you for the $7. He said, because it's Wednesday. What is Wednesday? I don't know. Any Midwest gang in the chat? There's a lot of I feel like everyone is in the Midwest. Oh, whoever pulls that card, Dana will buy it for $250. Oh, all right. All right, that makes me feel way better. That's actually cool. I'm thinking Dana's selling it. Like, I have this for $250. Who wants it? Like, dude, fuck off. DraftKings is legal in all 50 states? Yes, now it is, yeah. Where is sports betting illegal in the US? It varies by state and again by sports book at this point. So like certain sports books are only available in certain states. Like DraftKings, well, you just said it's in all 50 states. But like you could look and see it. It'll say in the fine print, not available in whenever. Oh, Saul with a great question. What do you order to drink at the bar? Brother, you already know. Depending on my mood, Bud Light or a fucking IPA, baby. There's no it's black and white. It's two different things, but it's whatever mood I'm in. If I'm driving, 100% I'm getting an IPA because I know I'm only going to have 3 drinks and I want those drinks to count, and I'm not a liquor guy. So like, yeah, give me your fucking, not a double IPA. I don't want to go crazy. I want it to taste good, but give me a nice, we live on Long Island, Montauk Wave Chasers, like a popular IPA that's always on tap. Give me that. Sand City is a local fucking brewery that's on tap at a bunch of places. Banging IPAs, every single one of them. Shout out Fate to Jade. But I'll take any of those. If I know I'm gonna drink fucking, a bunch of beers, just give me the Bud Lights because we're at a bar already. That's cheap. My girl's gonna order some bougie drink. It's gonna cost me $20 a drink. Give me the $5 Bud Light so we can like even each other out a little bit. There's this one place in town that does they do happy hour all day Mondays, so 4 to close. So we'll go like on a Monday night. Their house lager's $3. So I'm like, house lager, baby, let's go. $3 a beer. My girl's like, it's actually called a Cool Hand Luke. It's like a spicy margarita thing. It's fucking like $15. But I'm like, all right, between the two of us, we're getting $9 drinks. That's not that bad, So I would definitely a beer. Beer is the simple answer to that. When was the last time you skated? You ever landed a switch D? What the fuck is D? The last time I skated was like, all right, well, I have like a cruiser board now. And if my girlfriend's like, well, let's go for a bike ride or something, sometimes I'll be like, I'm bringing the skateboard. Or like, we have a park nearby, not a skate park, but a regular park. Sometimes I'll just go like cruise through the park. But last time I skated to like do tricks, fuck, man. Years ago. Maybe 10 or so years ago, I spent a summer building mini ramps, like building half pipes in fucking New Jersey, Long Island, like all over, literally. My buddy had like a Craigslist business that actually blew up, and we were building a different mini ramp every fucking weekend. But it was sick because we would get so much better each mini ramp we built at building them that they would go so much quicker. Like what took 12 hours, then took 10, then took 8, then took like 6. And then we would just skate the ramp. And it was almost always a dad getting it built for his like way too young kid who couldn't skate, like a 6-year-old kid. So it was always like they wanted to watch us skate it. And it was just the best fucking gig ever because you'd build the ramp and then just get to shred it for like 2 hours, and they'd give you like food and drinks, and then you'd go get in the car, get high, and go home. But it's been a minute. Maybe not 10 years. I did go to a skate park pre-pandemic, but less than 10 years ago. I'll say somewhere in the 2015, 2020 range. I went for like a summer with my buddy who was going all the time. But I remember being so like shit. I was trying to fucking there was like a bank to a, and then someone put like an orange barrier, like one of those barriers. And I like, it took me forever just to ollie over the barrier. And I was like, damn, I've really lost my shit. Back in the day, I'd be like, let me varial heel this barrier. Let me tray flip this barrier. And then now I'm like, bro, I can barely make it over this thing. And like, I don't want to get hurt. I'm way more, not even scared, but I'm way more reluctant to even like give things a go. I'm like, even just like grinding a ledge, I'm like, bro, I'm going to slip out and like hit my shins on that shit. It's going to hurt so bad. Like I just feel like the older you get, it's like, hair on your arm, you mean? Are we talking Aaron Bronstetter, kill a gorilla? We just got shanked, baby. Let's go. Getting pegged and getting shanked. I mean, geez. Anthony Smith got arrested on his birthday, and it seems like he got shot in the arm. Fight Society on YouTube found the calls to the police. It's so sad, man. Thank you for adding the question mark so that I pulled it up. Damn, so it was his birthday? Who shot him? Like someone in the house? Dude, I gotta look this up. This is crazy. OG Kush among the goats. Let's go. Hey, man, I was in the chat months ago. I made a comment about going into a 90-day rehab months ago, and I'm back and feeling better than ever. Glad to be back. How are you? Let's go, Dalton. I'm glad to hear that, brother. I hope you stayed all 90 days, and I hope you're doing well, and I fucking go enjoy life, brother. You don't need drugs or alcohol or whatever you were on. You don't need anything, brother. Get high on life. Go fucking eat some good food, soak in some sun, go to the beach. Hopefully you got a beach, go to the water, whatever you got nearby, and enjoy your day, man. Shot in the arm. I'm attacking my family. Arrested on your birthday is nuts, but it's not that nuts, guys. It's like, that's going to be the day you're most lit, Like, yeah, I was out of my mind, shit-faced. No wonder I got arrested. That's kind of how I feel about it. UBS Arena is great. He had a gun and was armed, and in the calls, they said someone was shot in the arm and hurt. Interesting. Shout out Sean Baller. This is ducking. Triple dubber parlay? Supper dubber? No fight scheduled or announced for either Val or Weili since they fought almost 8 months ago. What the fuck are they doing? Is it them or UFC delaying stuff? I mean, Weili's just out here getting makeovers rather than training. I don't know, but I don't know of any injuries, but I also like didn't look into either of them being injured, so I don't want to assume either way. I'll just say that women's MMA feels deflated right now. They're probably just saving it. Here's the reality with the UFC schedule, and I was saying this about if they're going to make an interim light heavyweight belt. I feel like to them, it's not like, ooh, we need to get Val back in there. It's like, fuck, we need to fill out this card. Let's add a title fight. We need a co-main. Let's add Val versus Natalia. We need a co-main, Weili versus whoever. Like, that's to me how it feels. So maybe they're just picking their spot. Maybe like, think about it. We have 2 pay-per-views in October. Going to need at least 2 title fights. Let's say Aspinall gone is 1, because I heard rumors of that. Do you do, Volkov? Do you do Val on the undercard of that? Do you do Volkov-Loyev and then Val on the undercard of that? Like, I don't know. So it's interesting. Is the Perry fight an MVP fight? No, it's like, at least I don't think it is. It's some random fucking promotion, I think. LAL, what was your best flat ground trick and your favorite? Ooh. So my favorite was probably varial heel or inward heel. I liked inward heels a lot because I feel like they were like one of the harder tricks that I feel like people couldn't do. I will say, I've never in my life, and it's apropos because of the name, I could never hard flip. No matter what the stance, I could never hard flip. People are like, fakey hard flips are easy. I could never fucking hard flip. I don't know why. Same with like front side flips. I could like do off ledges. I could not really do them on flat ground that well. Tray flips always look nice. Nollie tray was always like one of my like, yeah, nollie tray, bitch. Let's go. But I liked varial heels and inward heels. I liked the weird shit that I felt like other people couldn't, because when you're skating flat ground, you're just trying to like show off, really. And girls always liked tray flips. It's the most spinny, flippy shit you got, That was always you never do a kick flip in front of a girl. You do a fucking tray flip, all right? That's the move. What's a fighter that you were genuinely rooting for without any bets and their loss broke your heart? Like when you just started watching MMA around that time. Ooh. Whitaker getting knocked out by Izzy, the poster right above me, was one of those moments that I realized, because here's the thing. Anytime two of your favorite fighters are fighting, which was the case with that, you're always like, I don't know, man. Obviously someone has to win, but you're like, I don't want to pick a side, blah, blah, blah. I was feeling that way all week. The second Rob got hurt, I was like, oh no, I'm rooting for Rob. I was like, no, Rob, you can't lose. Like that one definitely hurt. God, without any bets is like so hard to think of. Now we're going like back. That broke my heart too. Like, why would I have been so invested in someone I didn't have bets on is really where I'm at. Man, I'm trying to think of some big ones. I was rooting for DC against Cormier in the rematch, but I do remember feeling sad for Cormier afterwards when he was crying and shit. Like I was like, "Nah, dude, stop. This I feel bad." Like I don't know. That's a really good question. There's a few fighters that I genuinely root for though, that like even fucking like Steve Urseg, to see him get knocked out this week was like, God damn it. Bummer. Sour D is a sativa? Is it? Maybe it's a hybrid. I don't fucking know. How much communication do you guys have with all the smoke? Are they happy with what MK has brought them? I don't have like any communication with all the smoke. I'm friends with one guy there who will occasionally hit me up and just be like, yo, what's the deal with this or something? But it's usually like remember BC and Luke were there for like, I think it was Canelo Crawford. It was like obviously a year ago when BC was still around, but they were in Vegas for it. Like I was in communication with a lot of people for that just because I was running the show from here, but they were obviously in Vegas. So I needed to have like a cameraman and someone else on the other side. That was like the only time I've really like talked to them. I did do a show from All the Smoke studio again a year ago when I was in LA, but same thing. That same dude just like let me in the building and that was it. I didn't like talk to anyone. I look at the numbers and I compare the numbers to some of their other shit, and I still think MK is probably one of their best shows, but I haven't talked to anyone to know. The other producer that we work with, Matt, is he's like an All the Smoke employee, so he would know way more about like internally, but I also think he would just tell us anything if there was anything to relay, kind of thing. What's your favorite strain? And this is a weird one, but what's the off-air relationship with LT? He seems hard to please. That's why I appreciate your take on MK. You have more genuine vibe. Thank you, man. Favorite strain? Sour Diesel. You already know. Got the pillow. My girlfriend once asked me, what's your favorite strain? I said Sour Diesel. And then she showed up with that pillow like 2 days later. I don't know. I don't know if they had every strain or I just happened to pick one that they had. Either way. But that just reminds me of like high school and like that taste, that nostalgia, like, ooh, that's some good weed. Like, off-air relationship with LT is great. I mean, he's LT. Put it this way. He texted me just before we went live. He's the type of person who always, and I mean always, has his phone on do not disturb. So when you text him, it's like, this person has notification silence. So I can never fault him when he doesn't answer me. But I will say he's not a good answerer. He's a good answerer when he needs, like he's texting me right now about something about Friday. and we're going back and forth. But I also asked him something about merch 2 days ago and never got an answer. It's stuff like that. But no, he's great. He's actually really cool, and I feel like he. I don't even want to say he puts on his like grumpiness on camera, but he's chill as fuck. He's more BC off camera than you would think. Who was your biggest read in UFC history? For example, I bet all of Rebellis Despain's UFC fights right, just off chance and knowing he couldn't wrestle. In contrast, never bet on Iwan Kutalaba correctly. God damn. So there's so many fighters I'm incorrect. Like, no matter what, I cannot get there. Uros Medic is a perfect example. A fighter I can never bet on correctly. I'm taking the over 1.5 this week. Damn well it's going to be a first round finish. Like, that man just burns me any chance he gets. Someone who that comes to mind is Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla, I think, has been an underdog in all of his UFC fights, and I think I've bet on him in every single one. So that's been very satisfying, especially when it's an underdog. There's certain people that I've predicted, like a Suwal Mabayev on MK. I was like, he's my dark horse of the year. That's a guy I'm just going to blindly back, and it'll look great. Whitaker against, I just saw Whitaker reminded me. Whitaker against Jacare. I don't remember what the odds were. I want to say Whitaker was like plus 200 something. And this was back at my old job when we were just throwing the dollar in for the full card bets. So it wasn't like I bet Whitaker straight up, but I just took Whitaker because I was like, that's my fucking dude. Let's go. And he won. And like, that was like, I looked like a genius, Same with one of the best comebacks in UFC history, Darren Elkins against Mirsad Bektik. I was the only person who had Darren Elkins, and going into round 3, everyone's like, wow, you're an idiot taking Darren Elkins. And Darren Elkins comes back and wins. It was pretty fucking dumb. 2 Daltons in one chat? Where's Dalton Rosta? They used to call me Mike Mo in high school. Too much C's. Mike Mo Capaldi. Oh, let's make sure there's not any other super chats. Oh, well, first of all, John Ray gifted a membership. Appreciate you, John Ray. And then we got 200 again from C Shank, who said, I feel MK should get back to having something on Wednesdays. Having said that, this is a great alternative if you are planning to do it weekly. Thank you, brother. I didn't really know what the turnout was going to be, so I didn't know if I should commit to weekly. I said once a month on MK yesterday, just as like, just in case it's a total dud. I feel like the turnout was pretty good. I'm just worried I'm going to answer every question. You guys are going to have no questions for me next week. But we can for now, let's say we're doing it every week, but still TBD. Next week might suck, and I might be like, all right, guys, we're doing this less, but we'll see. I do enjoy it, and I do feel like Wednesday, there's a big gap at this time. Tuesdays and Thursday, I always try and think of the other shows. Ariel goes live at 1, which, speaking of, we should probably finish this in the next 15 minutes. And then like BTL with MMA fighting, they're Thursdays at like noon, but they sometimes do it Tuesdays. So I didn't want to overlap with that, shit like that. What's the cost difference on PFL tickets versus UFC? PFL is right now $40 to get into the building for PFL Long Island. UFC is like $300 to get into the building. It's ridiculous. When PFL first started, they used to be on Tuesday or Thursday, if I recall, and they were getting momentum. Why did they ever move to Saturdays? I think realistically, midweek isn't a great night viewership wise. Like, I'm not, most people aren't staying up past like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday if you got work early. So if you're putting on a 10 p.m. main card, no one's watching it. You put on a 10 p.m. main card on a Friday or a Saturday, now people are watching it. So I think Friday is their sweet spot. They have done Thursday as recently as like last year, dude. Maybe even this year. They've definitely done Thursdays like more than once. But I feel like Tuesday's a little too like, that's nah. I guess it's like saying contender series, but I don't know. What else we got? So do Luke and Brian own part of MK, or did they have to get all the smoke to buy it outright? I don't know the logistics of it, but I think, put it this way, I think BC doesn't own any of anything anymore, at least as far as I think. I think All the Smoke owns they own the MK YouTube, which essentially is owning MK. You get the revenue from that, but in return, they're paying all parties for it. So like Luke's getting a salary for that. So it's like a trade off. Someone might get, technically like the company might lose money in the end, or Luke might be missing out on money. And, it's kind of like, that's the like internal thing I've always thought of. Like if some company was ever like, yo, we want to do, we want prop quiz or something to be on our channel. We'll pay you for that. I'm always like, it's almost like when the musician gets offered like a record label. Like, do you go solo? Do you just stick to your thing, or do you take the money there, like the guaranteed money, and like maybe you're gonna make out like a bandit, maybe your album's gonna flop, but you're getting paid, or maybe your album's gonna go platinum, and you're gonna be like, "Fuck, why'd I ever sign this deal? I'm making pennies," So I guess that's the conundrum. I love betting overs. Give me 3 to 5 fights going over 1.5 rounds this weekend in Belgrade. Ooh. Well, first of all, I have 2 already on the main card, which is Rakic Tybura over 1.5, and I took the 2.5 in Jan and Navajo. But either way, if you're looking for 1.5, take both of those. I took it in the main event too, but it's a single because it's plus 170. I don't have a lot of confidence in it, so I definitely wouldn't parlay that. Looking at the rest of this card. Dude, Ludovic Klein, Tafik Musayev is a dope fight. Why isn't that on the main card? Shit. How about Dennis Bazooka Bogdan Grad? That feels like an over 1.5. Also, shout out Dennis Bazooka. I didn't even realize he was still on the roster. Long Island's own. Is Anthony Smith the greatest dad alive on paper? Oh, God. All right. I can't wait to actually read that shit after this. Thoughts on the legend? I got to read more details. All I knew was that he got arrested for domestic violence. I didn't hear the cell phone call or any of that shit. So I got to look into it. What else we got? I feel like I'm finally catching up. Alan W? Question mark? When are we having a donk meetup with BC at Newport Folk Festival? Is that is that Rhode Island? Newport, Rhode Island? Is that a thing BC goes to, or are you just trying to will that into existence? I will say, I brought this up, and I don't know if anyone's in the Philadelphia area, and I don't want anyone to travel for this. But if anyone's going to UFC 330 and wants to, like, I don't know, get a free koozie from me and say what up for 2 minutes, me and Gaff, feel free to hit us up. But only if you're going to be in the area. If you're going to travel for it, I don't actually want you to do that. I'm going to avoid you if you do. No, I'm kidding. But I really don't want, because then I'm going to feel obligated to hang out with you or something. It's one thing if like Gaff and I are getting lunch somewhere and someone's like, yo, where you at? And I'm like, yo, come through. We're having a couple beers. Come hang. But then we're going to leave you right after that. Don't be weird. Don't linger. But you can come hang. Dave Sandine buys memberships too. What is with the glitch ingredients screen? Glitch ingredients screen? What are you talking about? I don't know what that means. Also, shout out Dave Sandine. Dave Sandine's the man. He also sent me the glitching screen? What's glitching? Is this glitching for anyone? Oh, maybe it's my lights behind me. Are they getting weird? It might be that. I don't know. Now I'm getting nervous. Thoughts on Mike Davis post-fight? I mean, do you have like any self-awareness if you're Mike Davis? Like, I don't care if you want to say like, this is gay, that's gay, whatever. But like, what does he think is going to come from that? You're criticizing the UFC. I thought you were cutting all these gay wrestlers. It's like, also, like, am I the only? I literally said, Jed Mishu said to me on Friday before that fight, he said, I'm excited for the Aliev Mike Davis fight. And I said verbatim, why are you excited for an Aliev decision? it was so fucking obvious how that fight was going to go that it's like, why are you upset he wrestled you? That's what he does. It's like fighting Marab and being like, I thought you were cutting these gay wrestlers. Like, what? That's what that guy does. Also, beat it. Be better at fighting, and you don't have to fucking complain. Like, I don't know, man. He did apologize after, which good, but like, why even? It was like, who? I don't know, man. Give it an hour. Give it an hour. See how you feel. I feel like, and you'd probably be like, yeah, this is a stupid video. I shouldn't post this. I'll look like an idiot. LAL, why do you think? Or sorry, who do you think has the better 205 run, Rob or Izzy? Izzy's not going to 205, is he? Is he? Is he? Or are you just saying, who do I think would? Oh, man. I mean, technically, Rob has the better 205 run. Izzy went up and lost. Rob went up and won. So technically, it's Rob. I don't know, man. Rob looked good in his light heavyweight debut, but I don't think he looked great. So I'm kind of like iffy. Like, depending on how he's match made, I'd be worried for the next one. Izzy might need to go to 205. I feel like I heard a rumor for Izzy's next fight, and if it's true, he's not going to 205. But I kind of like that idea for him. If you're what now? If I'm driving, I want higher alcohol percentage for sure. Because I'm only having a couple beers, guys. I'm only having 2 or 3 beers. So I want to like get buzzed off those 2 beers. Not, again, below the legal limit, but still you're drinking 3 Bud Lights. It's like I had 3 glasses of water. There's no point. You drink 7 Bud Lights. Now we're feeling something, but I can't drive after 7 Bud Lights. So that's all I meant. Yo, Luke, do you dab? If so, you should have a big fat dab on air. LOL. So, shout out. BC got like from the Mike Tyson brand sent him like a bunch of like, they sent him a gravity bong. They sent him like all this shit. And he gave me like a bunch of it, and he gave me an e-nail. And then I was like, I don't have wax or anything. So if I have an e-nail, I should probably get wax. And it's like, it fits into the bong too. So you could just like rip it right out of the bong. And again, e-nail. So you just plug it in, or it's not even plug it in. You charge this little device and, powers off of that. But either way, I used to, if I had a perfect betting card, take a dab. But then I ran out of wax and I was like, I don't want to keep buying wax. I will say I have like 2 friends who are very into it, where like anytime we hang out, they want to take dabs. So those are really the only occasions. I personally don't ever really do. I feel like it's just going to take away from my tolerance, and I don't like that. What kind of board did you use to ride? I was anti-hero guy till the day I died. Damn, I never had an anti-hero. I got to think. I liked Shorties was big growing up. That shit got popped, bro. Shorties. Definitely had a few. I had the Brandon Turner Shorties Pro model. I had a Spanky Baker. I used to get a lot of Bakers. I had a Zero that broke like a week into it, and I was like 13, and I was so mad. So I never bought a Zero again. I always liked the way the Zeros looked, but to me they were they were flimsy, fake, whatever. Not fake. Girl. I had a lot of Girl decks. Those were big. I'm trying to think of other brands. My first ever deck was a birdhouse, a Willie Santos birdhouse. It was a bear with an afro. It was pretty sick. He's like smoking a cigar. I bought that when I was 7 years old at the board shop in Huntington, New York, baby. Shout out. Maybe it was Colmac, New York. Shout out, Kyle. I know you're from Colmac. Yeah. I don't know. I never was like really like loyal to a brand. It was more like, here's like 5 brands I like, and now I'll just pick out whatever, you go to the shop, whatever deck you liked, like the graphic, you'd be like, ooh, and it's one of my brands. Yeah, that one. But then as I got older, like when I started going to Woodward and shit, I would buy the 5 blanks from eBay, dude. You get 5 blanks from eBay for like $30. Like literally 5 blank decks. And it was sick because the thing with Woodward was you were always worried you were going to break your deck there. So you'd bring 2, I'd always bring 2 spares, and then you're like set up deck. And to be honest, you'd end up just breaking one, like, just like teenagers do. And you're like, well, let's break my board, and you just like break, like, oh, I'm mad after that trick. I'll just break it. I got another one back in the cabin, like, because they were fucking blanks. They were cheap as fuck. So that was always the move. Like my current deck right now, if someone was like, yo, we're going skating right now, get your deck out, it is a blank. But my cruiser board, I'm trying to think of what brand that is. I think it's a Baker. My name is Jeff. Are you a fan of weddings? Yeah, it depends on who it is. I will say that because I love an open bar, We're just gonna fucking get drunk and like dance and like have a good time. Yeah, that sounds like a great fucking time. But if it's like a fucking whack ass like small wedding where like the vibes, there's no open bar, the vibes aren't yeah, I'm a hard pass on that. I also like want to know people there. Like there's no better weddings than like family weddings when you literally know like every person there and you're like, this is sick. Like every direction I look, I know people, But I still can be like I'm going to a wedding when the fuck is it? September, I think. That like I already know I'm gonna know like 2 people there, but I also know the bride and groom are a lot of fun. So I feel like that's gonna be a fun ass wedding. Like I don't even care. I know my girlfriend. Who cares? Like my name is Sergey. Only just got here. We spoke about the Anthony Smith news. Very sad. Yeah, I didn't read all the details, but I heard he got arrested for domestic violence. So I will look into it. We can talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it on MK. It really depends on what LT wants to talk about. Are we Li Zhang and Francis Ngannou still dating, or did they break up? Oh, Whaley? I mean, I don't think they were ever dating. Nolly Big Spins, fun as fuck. Yeah, Nolly Big Spin's not as fun as Fakey Big Spins. Let's be real. Also, we're talking Nolly frontside Big Spin, right? Because a Nolly backside Big Spin was kind of hard. Fakey backside Big Spin was easy. Inward heel, sick as fuck. Hard flip was my favorite. Once I learned, I couldn't stop. Yeah, I could never learn how to hard flip. I was always scared I was going to get nutted because you have to let the board go like vertical through your legs. I was like, fuck that. Highly pop shoves look sick. Tray flips are the shit. Still remember that night vividly too. I was too stoked. My stream cut out before the KO came out when Izzy was shooting his air machine guns. Bro, I fucking went to the hospital that night. Right before Rob got his ass beat, I was in the hospital getting stitches because I fucking sliced my finger open. It was this finger on washing dishes of all things to do. I'm just like washing dishes. I think it was like in between prelims and main card. And I'm like, I'm drunk. And I'm like, yeah, I'm washing dishes, washing this super sharp knife just slips, fucking slices my hand open. I probably, if I was home alone, I probably would have just ignored it. I wasn't living with my girlfriend at the time. I was living with my buddy. And he's like, bro, he's like, you need to go to the hospital. I'll bring you. Luckily, we live like right next to the hospital. So it's, it's right down the road. But we went, I got stitches, came back. I think I caught the co-main and the main. Favorite skate videos, Endor skaters. I've watched Lakai Fully Flared countless times. Bro, I remember when Fully Flared came out. Okay, Baker 3 was like life-changing. Baker 3 was the shit. Ones I had, Bag of Suck by Enjoy. Bag of Suck, one of the best fucking videos ever. Those are like my prime skating time. What was the other one by DVS? Skate More, I think it was called. It was like Kerry Getz was in it, DVS. That was a good one. Fully Flared was right around that time too. Yeah, right, by fucking Girl. That was big at that time. The flip videos, Sorry, Really Sorry. There was another like America one. Not This Is Skateboarding. Fuck, I'm hoping I'm not blanking on any others. Those are some bangers though. And favorite skaters, I always really like Jeff Rowley. That was just like some guy I was just always into. I met Dustin Dolan once in Australia, and I always liked him, even though he's probably a piece of shit. Who else? Fucking like the dude in Antoine Dixon in Baker 3. That was like one of the illest. I remember being like, this guy's sick. Andrew Reynolds. I mean, who the fuck doesn't like Reynolds, bro? Reynolds and Baker 3 is like some of the illest fucking. And this escape. Reynolds with the front side flip. Didn't he front side flip Love Gap? Like, Reynolds is the shit. Damn, man, there's a lot. Louis Barletta and fucking Enjoy. I always liked him. A lot of good guys. Do you remember the argument that Jadakiss and Styles P had over Sour Diesel and Piff? They were arguing about which one is better. No, but fun fact, Jada and Styles and who's the other one? Sheik Luch, whatever the fuck his name is. They the Locks. I did a concert for I was just showing you the Pusha T thing. That same venue, I did a concert for the Locks. And that was pretty dope. They were all blazing. Piff is Hayes, ain't it? I don't even fucking know. Piff just reminds me of datpiff.com. That's where I used to get my mixtapes from, you know? LAL, did you get a haircut? Yeah, I did yesterday. You know, I'm a quick, easy zoom, you know? Nothing quick. When is the part of the live chat where you project your former hatred of women on us and tell us that our opinions are childish or uninformed? What kind of live chat even is this? It's very funny. I would say do it later in the day if possible. I'd assume a lot of us donks are at work. Well, that's why I put up the member post, J-Ray. Also, it's like way more convenient for me to do it in the morning. But my thought is, if you're not going to be here live, you could comment on the member post. And that way you could watch it whenever you want and get your answer to your question. For those of you who are here live, obviously it's whatever. But re-asking, have you reached out to MMA Guru about being on Prop Quiz yet? I asked him about joining an MMA trivia quiz show. He said he is open to the idea, assuming it will generate the views. I mean, I don't know what his views and my views are two different things. I've not asked him. I've not asked, still haven't really asked any YouTubers. We'll put it that way, but it's fucking not that he's in the works, but you know, more people are in the works. Who's your barber? Stevie Wonder? Yeah, dude, you know, he's a little blind with it. No, dude, I get no fucking, I'm literally shave it off. We're good. I get a haircut every quarter pretty much. That's it. Super basic. I don't give a fuck. Life ain't about hair. Michael J. Fox. Bro, how many references you got? Ray Charles, Michael J. Fox. Favorite fight of all time? Damn. This is a really hard question. And now I got to think of some more. Izzy Adesanya. How about it? Izzy Adesanya. That sounded so stupid. Izzy Gastelum. Izzy Gastelum is a fucking banger. It's pretty recent, but how about Josh Van, Tatsuro Taira? That was a fucking banger. I had FOMO. We were in the building for that, but I was backstage. Gaff was in the seats, and I had FOMO. I was like, fuck, Gaff is so lucky he's out there for this fight. Man, there's been some wars. Royval Van last year, that was a fucking banger. I can only really think of recent ones because it's like Rory and fucking Robbie, obviously classic. Even the fucking, it lasts like 2 minutes, but Czech Congo and Pat Barry, where they get knocked down like 3 times each. That's a pretty sick fight. Alan W, isn't that a donator? Alan W is a legend around these parts. We haven't seen him in a minute though. Where do you feel the tough finalists will fight? There's another 4 weeks, I think, and the cards after are in France, China, etc. It'll be a while until mid-September when back in the US. Where do they fit? So don't quote me on this, but have they always made sure to do it on a US card? Because wasn't there something last season where like they were supposed to be on an Apex card, but then they got moved to a pay-per-view, or vice versa? Like they were supposed to be on a pay-per-view, they got moved to like an Apex card, and it was like the curtain jerker was the tough finale or some shit. It was weird. So I won't be shocked if they just throw it on a fucking China card, France, whatever. Although the China cards they usually do around Road to UFC, so maybe not. Because I feel like they already got too many other like tournaments going on that week. But I guess the real question is, who the fuck cares? I haven't watched. I hate to be that guy because I used to be the one guy like, guys, tough is still good, and I still will hold that and say like, yeah, I don't mind if anyone watches tough. I just haven't caught any of it, and I can't. Who's even the coaches? Bisping in DC. That's where you lose me. That's where you fucking lose me. Zero relevance to anything going on today in the sport. Just nothing. I don't care if it's two guys who are never going to fight. At least give me two guys that I'm like, oh, that's Volk. I love Volk. I'll watch that. That's fucking Justin Gaethje. I want to hear what he has to say. Like I think fondly of those 2 seasons. That's why I'm thinking back to it. But just for me, favorite Eminem track / album. Ooh. All right, album I think is Recovery. Believe it or not. I know that came out in like 2010, a little on the older side. Danger, you did put me on to that first album by him, which I'm blanking on the fucking name right now. But that one's also pretty fucking good. Marshall Mathers LP. I mean, wait, that's the first one. No, Slim Shady LP. Which one's the first one? Slim Shady LP. Slim Shady LP is better than Marshall Mathers LP. Because I remember being in my backyard with my brother and his friend listening to Slim Shady LP, and I was probably like 7, 8 years old, right? That came out in 99, so I was 7 years old. And we were listening to it on a boombox in the backyard. And I remember all the skits. We kept listening to the skits, like more so than the songs. It was weird. But Eminem Show was like, when that came out, was like the shit. White America, fucking. But I think front to back, like actually banger album is Recovery. My screen is glitching lately on live videos when I have the live chat open. Question marks. So you see this? LIL, it's not your fault. Interesting. Nothing is glitching. It's perfectly fine. All right. All right. All right. All right. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's up to Mike Davis to make the fight not gay. Yeah. Or just, I don't know, dude. Don't take the fight with a fucking grappler if you're going to complain it's fucking. Again, you wouldn't take a fight with Marab and then be like, why'd he wrestle me? Like, because that's what he does. Like, what do you mean? Mike Davis is at fault for taking the fight. They won't push wrestlers for the title. Why fight them on the way up? I mean, I'm all for taking tough fights, but I kind of agree. Why take the fight if you're just going to bitch about it? Again, it's not like, what's a good example of like someone who normally strikes that chose to wrestle? Charles Oliveira. It's not like Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway where it's like, oh, he chose to wrestle. And we all know him as this fun, exciting guy. We expected a fun fight. It's like, no, we know this guy does this. Like, Encore had some good tracks. Encore, though, wasn't Encore really just a greatest hits album? And then it had like 3 new songs on it or something? Or is that Curtain Call? Maybe I'm mixing those two up. Oh, I did that already. Did they post that already? What did I come into? Isn't Islam's hand broken? Morales versus Gary at 3:30? No. Bro, I'm going to be so bummed. I'm fine with Ian Gary pulling out for Morales. I'm not fine with Islam pulling out. That's just fucking whack. If that's true. Comac? More like Blowmac. All right. Bro, my first skateboard was made out of metal. No grip tape. I was thugging. Jesus. Made me a monster when I got a real board. Worst injury from skating, not counting shinners or credit cards. Bro, I broke my wrist. I had a compound fracture at Woodward. It was day 1. This is 2006. Summer 2006. I go to Woodward. I'm 14 years old. They don't let you skate the first day because they're worried you're going to get injured. But all that does is prolong. Like day 2 is just day 1. You know, they're like, oh, we don't want everyone just getting all excited and getting hurt. It's like, you realize you're just locking us in a cage until we can do that on day 2. So it's first hour of skating. You know, you go to breakfast. It's like 9 a.m. You have like 9 to 5 to fucking skate wherever you want. 16 different parks, something crazy like that. I fucking go. I had board slid a 5-stair handrail like earlier that year, and they had just made this outdoor street park at Woodward, and it was a 6-stair handrail. And I was like, I'm gonna board slide the 6-stair handrail. It's like the next, you got to add one more stair, bro. You know. So I'm trying, and like from the first try, I'm just slipping out each time. I'm like almost landing it, almost landing it, almost landing it. My one regret is not, because we had our cameras there, but we didn't. My one regret is not because we left them in the fucking cabin. Is not telling my friends, yo, go get a camera. Like I'm close to landing it, because that's what you did back then, and then your friend would film you 20 tries. Because I was getting really close every time. And then I fucking go and I slipped out and I put my right wrist behind me, and it was like, you know, like bone popping out of the skin, gross. And I just kind of like went into shock. I don't really know what happened, but I was so dehydrated, and I was like, oh, yo, like my friend was there that I went with, and I was like, yo, can you get me a drink? Like I'm so thirsty. And he's like, I got you. And he like ran to the next skate park, Cloud 9, and they had a soda vending machine. He got me a soda. In the meantime, they call like an ambulance or whatever. And it wasn't even an ambulance. It was a guy in an SUV. He was probably an EMT or something. Puts me in this like loose, I'm talking loose fucking, I don't even know what you want to call it. Just to like, because again, my bone is like this. So it's just like chilling there for a minute. We had like an hour drive to fucking Penn State University, where they have a hospital. Went to Penn State. They're like, you have to get surgery. I'm like, oh no, sorry, I forgot to mention my friend with the soda brought it back to me, and the EMT like smacked the soda away and was like, you can't drink anything. You're going to need surgery. And I was like, what? Because you can't eat or drink like 6 hours before surgery, whatever the fuck it was. So I had eaten and drank at breakfast. So I had to wait 6 hours from then. Just dehydrated as shit the whole time. 14 years old, broken wrist, miserable. No one's around, you know, whatever. My parents had to drive 6 hours back after dropping me off the day before. It was miserable. But yeah, I got surgery on my arm. All good. And I never even got surgery. How about this? They put me down for surgery, and I'm expecting to get surgery. I wake up, there's no scar or whatever. They go, oh, it actually went back like pretty easily while you were asleep. We don't need to do surgery. So I really got the best of, like, you know, people talk about they break a bone and then the doctor like puts it back into place while they're still conscious. I essentially got put to sleep just for them to put it back together. It was pretty cool, but I did get nosebleeds for a while after that because I broke like through an artery or something, I guess. And I would get like random nosebleeds. It was weird. But that's definitely the worst injury. Do you know why or who Andy Anderson is? He made a skateboard that have lines on the grip tape to show you how to do tricks? No. Sounds cool though. Used to have that baseball that you know, would show you where to throw pitches with, and I used to have the basketball that would show you how to shoot with. Neither helped. How much money do you think it would take for PFL to buy women's MMA divisions from UFC? That ain't happening, bro. Vice versa, that could happen. UFC could buy the PFL women's divisions. UFC's not getting rid of their divisions. Most famous skater you ever met and or skated with? Oh. Well, again, Woodward, you know, they have the pros there. So you could just like skate with the pros. Malcolm Watson, shout out. He was on World Industries. He I think he was a New York guy too. He was always there. He also was at Brooklyn Bank. I went to Brooklyn Banks once for like Battle of the Banks. And I used to go to the Brooklyn Banks all the time, but I'm saying like I went for a contest once, and it was when I had that broken wrist. So it was 2006. And I fucking, no one had signed my cast. I purposely like didn't let my friends sign my cast. And then we went to Battle of the Banks and we went to Manny Mania. Manny Mania might have been like the year later. That was in LES skate park, Lower East Side, Manhattan. But both of those were fucking full of pros. But at the Battle of the Banks, I had all the pros sign my cast. So I had Joey Brzezinski signed it, Malcolm Watson, Spanky, fucking, oh, there was some dude, Zerid Bassett. That's his name. He was on like Zoo York. He fucking signed. I just had like any skater I recognized. I was like, yo, can you sign this? And it was dope. But never like skated with any. There was a dude from Long Island who was always at inline one skate park in Mount Sinai. And his name, he got signed by Baker eventually. Pat Rowney, one of those. Long Island guy, definitely was sponsored. He was at that Battle of the Banks. He like frontside flipped the fucking the Brooklyn Banks handrail. It was pretty dope. But he like he was like the most famous like Long Island guy that went up. So one of my friends growing up was cousins with Gino Annucci, and he'd always have a Gino Annucci like brand new deck. He'd be like, "Yeah, my cousin gave it to me," so that was always cool. And Gino would skate Stony Brook, and we'd always go skate Stony Brook, and always be like, "Maybe we'll see Gino." We never saw him. Met P Rod and skated with Mark Susi. That's pretty dope. How much is rent down there in Long Island? It's on Long Island, first of all. It depends what town you're in, and depends on your, living situation. If you just want to rent a room in a shitty town, you could get away with a couple $100. If you want like an apartment, you're running a few grand there, at least in a nice town. Shitty town, maybe you could get away with like under $2,000, but yeah, rent's expensive, but it's nothing like living in the 5 boroughs, with the exception of like the Bronx. But I would say like Manhattan, fucking Brooklyn, Queens are all super expensive, especially Manhattan. Who's that model doing such a great stone guy face you hired for the thumbnail? That's just some fucking guy, dude. I don't know. Yeah, set up the phone on a tripod and took some fucking stupid selfies. Whatever, guys. It is what it is. I told Gaff, me and him when we're in Philly, need to take thumbnail photos. We need to start putting our faces in the thumbnails. But for now, I took a couple myself. Have you seen the new Masters of the Universe movie, LIL? It's #1 worldwide all week on Prime. People are loving it and have been pleasantly surprised by it. I think you'd like it. I could tell by your username that you like it. I gotta be honest, dude. I'm so not into. It's not even movies because I like movies, but I'm so not into sci-fi and shit that whatever. But yo, how come people aren't buying our Masters of the Universe? Oh, because that was with BC. I was gonna say we don't have that on the store right now. It's like, why aren't people buying that if it's fucking the best movie right now? But no, I haven't seen it. Unless my girlfriend makes me watch it, I'm probably not gonna watch it. I'm gonna be honest. I keep feeling like we're getting close to the bottom, and then it just never ends. Worst drop off: Rory McDonald or Rose, just in terms of fighting style, ferocity, etc. Definitely Rory. I feel like Rose is still like Rose isn't a champion. Maybe she could if they get like if they just gave Rose a title fight right now, like they wouldn't. But if they did, like she could win it. But Rory lost. Rory found God and was like, I don't love fighting anymore. And you as soon as he said that, it was so obvious looking back at his last 3 performances. It was like, oh yeah, you were not in here. And then he comes back and you're like, I don't know, man. I feel like, yeah, I would say Rory. Glad I could stop in while on my break. How has the stream been going? It's been going pretty good, I think. Going a lot longer than I would have thought. Not that I'm complaining, but I was worried we weren't even going to get an hour in. I figured at most 2 hours. We're staying 100 strong right here. I didn't want to bleed into 1 o'clock, but if everyone's going to hang on, I can get through the rest of these. Do you remember which park you were at? For Woodward, it was the outdoor street park. They had just made it that year. So 2006, it was brand new. It was up. Again, it's next to Cloud 9. If all those parks still exist, I don't fucking know. Your parents saved for you to go to Woodward and you started collecting medical bills day 1? No. So get this. I, first of all, had to save up all year. That was the big thing because it was $800 to go to Woodward. And that was unheard of money. My parents were like, we are not paying for that. But they knew I was so into it. And they were like, if you save up, we'll pay half of it. It was some shit like that. Anyways, did it because I broke my wrist day 1, hour 1. They brought me back the next day when I was post-op, and they let me go to the store there and pick out whatever I wanted, essentially. Not like a new board, but they had to cut off my pads because they couldn't get my elbow pad off with my arm all fucked up. So they got me new pads. They gave me like a bunch of shirts. They gave me like whatever I wanted, food. They were like, whatever. And they refunded my parents' money. So I essentially got to skate Woodward for free and get a bunch of free shit. That's what I always told people. All right. And then I did go back the following 2 years after that. So I got to skate a bunch at Woodward. I just, fucked up. Brian Campbell experience said, cool story, but would you ever fight Roman for a chance at Cheyenne or what? I got to be honest. No, I wouldn't fight Roman. Would I fight Roman over his, hatred of gravity bongs? Yes, I would. Roman, I want to fight you over that. Who the fuck are you to pick up loose bongs in the woods that some teenager probably left there to go smoke later when he sneaks away from his parents' house, and you just threw it out? You think it's litter? That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Square up. What the fuck is a credit card? We'll see, Danger. When you have credit, you can put things on it. Do you still have your trunk from Woodward? Dude, that is such a good question. No, I do not, but fuck yeah, everybody had a trunk. That's a ball. That's ball, Kyle, by asking that. Everyone knows you had a trunk with the lock on it and everything. No one's stealing my shit. Mine was dope too, covered in mad stickers. It was black. I used it in my parents, like the room I grew up in at my parents' house. I just used it as a coffee table year round. It would just sit in the floor, and it was like perfect height. It was actually great. And then as I got a little older, the lock's still on it. You start putting your weed in the fucking chest there with the lock on. Nobody's getting it. But yeah, it was cool. We probably just got rid of it, or maybe it's like in my parents' attic. Who the fuck knows? But I haven't seen it in years. Who do you think are some of the most underrated fighters, and also any fighters that pleasantly surprised you that you thought achieved maybe more than you expected? I mean, a lot of, like, Sean O'Malley achieved a lot more than I ever expected. Mario Bautista achieved a lot more than I ever expected. There's way too many to name there. Underrated fighters. I got to go with my boy Asu Almabayev. I feel like no one's fucking talking about him. Merab was super underrated on the climb, and I was always backing him. I know now he's like not overrated, but now he's rated. He was underrated. Yeah, I don't know. Those are the few that come to mind. I remember trying to kickflip a 3-stair behind my local library. Ate it. My board slammed into someone's garage door. Right next to it was a giant box of porn someone threw out. It's pretty good. Top 10 Long Island fighters of all time. God, can I even name 10? No particular order. Let me just try and name 10. Chris Weidman, Aljamain Sterling. We're calling Marab a Long Islander. Ali Quinta. Charlie Campbell, Dennis Bazooka, Nazim Sadikov, Matt Frivola, Costas Philippou, Eddie Gordon. All right, we got 10. I didn't even name Sarah either. Like, I'm leaving people off of this. My favorite, though, I think, is Weidman. I'd go Weidman, Marab, Aljo, top 3, Gotcha. The outdoor one with the concrete bowls, forget the name. No concrete bowls. No bowls whatsoever. It was outdoor street. So it was... The one with the concrete bowls is more like mid... This was like outskirts. There was another park next to it that was an outdoor park with, like, I want to say, like, metal ramps that no one ever skated. But yeah, at the top of the hill by the cabins, but like way top of the hill. Not... I want to make sure you're not thinking of the one in the, like, it's like the park. It's kind of in the center of everything, the concrete one. Everyone's always doing the tricks over the barrier there and shit. Someone probably mentioned it already, but did you see the fighter that jumped on the cage and lit a joint after winning? No, dude, no one mentioned that. And I did not see that. Where did he pull the joint out of? He just fought with it the whole time and was like, oh, here it is. Like, did you say Matt Serra? I did. Oh, nice. All right, we made it to the end. All the way up top. Yes, forgot about that one. I was thinking of the central one at first. I forgot about the one all the way edges past the cabins. Yes, exactly. That's the one. Guys, super successful first live chat. I appreciate it. Went a little longer than I wanted it to, but no complaints. Just saying, I wanted to cut it off at 2 hours, but either way, way better turnout than I would have thought. So I appreciate everyone for joining. If you don't mind, please subscribe to the channel if you don't already. You could become a member. It'd be nice. You can follow me on social media. Again, PFL Long Island this Friday. I'm going to have a bunch of shit on Twitter and Instagram specifically. So if you don't already, please follow me over there. Go check out Gaff on One More Round Fights. Go check out Morning Combat. We got a new episode coming out Friday. And then Foes to Bros, new episode next week. Shout out Kyle, just gifted 5 fucking memberships in the meantime. Appreciate you, brother. Also, Kyle, I didn't realize you went to Woodward. That's fucking hilarious. Maybe you've told me that before. I just forgot. Again, please become a member, guys. 99 cents a month. You get the belts, you get the emojis, you get the giveaways, and you get priority questions for these here streams. If you're watching this after the fact, I appreciate you even more for checking it out, guys. And I'll probably do this again next week. Otherwise, see you PFL on Friday if you're there. I'll see you for Serbia on Saturday, 9:45 a.m. start, super early. Be there or be square. Till next time, I'm out of here. Peace.
Yo, Long Island Luke, Big Gaff, Ruby, and Yoli, main card minute. One more round, let's fucking go. Who got the pick, the hot pick that ought to hit? With the parlay to get the best money, I'm a bet. Small time or max units, all the paper I can get. Who do this? We do this. Take rips and cash flips. Who got the pick, the hot pick that ought to hit? With the parlay to get the best money, I'm a bet. Small time or max units, all the paper I can get. Who do this? We do this. Take rips and cash flips. Ayo, Long Island, streaming live from New York's Strong Island. We get live, what you thought? Bankroll too short. Y'all need to stack paper and rob the sports book like a crook pull a caper. If you think we ain't hitting, then your chance is slim. It's victory bong rips with Luke and Gaffney gyms. Got me cashing in, I'm clocking chips on a regular. Fuck the rest, them other cappers ain't competitors, ain't no stress. We just clocking them checks, the best plus money bets in 60 seconds or less. So get yours while the live odds poppin'. Pop underdog shopping, big props stay dropping. Drop non-stopping till the clock hit nil. But you can still get a deal while the boys make a kill. So you can watch the shills with the same old gimmick. Or flip a knot and cop some guap with the main card minute. Who got the pick, the hot pick that ought to hit? With the parlay to get the best money, I'm a bet. Small time or max units, all the paper I can get. Who do this? We do this. Take rips and cash flips. Who got the pick, the hot pick that ought to hit? With the parlay to get the best money, I'm a bet. Small time or max units, all the paper I can get. Who do this? We do this. Take rips and cash flips. Bitches, nut up and put your balls upon the table. Dog hunting plus money, cause we cunning and we able. Done chase the best lines, gotta lean on props. Bitch, check the bet ledger and see we on top. Might OD on pop, bong hits. Rip many votes, see if you with me, and let's hit the bet, Jenny. Let's rip the pen plenty and cook the books. See my MCM koozie, got 'em shook with looks. There ain't no small time crooks, click robbing the bank. Young Luke and Big Gappy copping profit and dank. If you ain't on the team, bitch, save that apology. Get down with the league and join that tapology. From he, me, and all of we, you best get on the train quick. Profit paying properly, Long Island in the vein, bitch, so you can do the same shit and pray y'all hit it. Smart money back the boys at the main card minute. Who got the pick, the hot pick that ought to hit? With a parlay to get the best money, I'm a bet. Small time or max units, all the paper I can get. Who do this? We do this. Take rips and cash flips. Who got the pick, the hot pick that ought to hit? With a parlay to get the best money, I'm a bet. Small time or max units, all the paper I can